Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here with week 2 of the CRL Open Series. Of course, if you were here last week, you got to see Southern Miss. They end up placing top 8 in their pool, just a little bit outside of the qualifying spots. But of course, that's why they are back this week. They want more and they need those points. I'm joined here by Taco. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing so good. I got a good rest last night after that Apex stream, got home and went straight to bed. What about
Straight
you?
to bed. I didn't even question anything else. I stayed up for a little. I was probably up until about 12:31ish, maybe 2. I don't really remember. The numbers kind of leave my head after I go to bed. I don't think about it too hard. But we've got another CRL Open ahead of us. You were here last week with me casting. So what were your main takeaways from that last Open?
So they played really well. Obviously, they got a bit of an unfortunate bracket run, ending up going against Ball State or Boise.
Illinois.
Boise.
Well, yeah, Boise State
in
winners.
And then jumped down to lower bracket against Illinois State. They didn't do too bad against Illinois State. They could have had it. I think that series ended.
It went game 3, right?
Yeah, series ended 2-1. Southern Miss lost, but they definitely have it in them. You know, not really much of a play. The thing about these collegiate teams that have been here for a while, they know how to boost starve, and Southern Miss was getting the brunt of that starvation, just could not for the life of them get boost to create a counterattack. So I'm interested to see how they have adjusted their play accordingly.
Yeah, and something that's going to be at least a bit familiar to them is some of these teams that are in the bracket today. So today is relatively similar to last week in terms of who USM will play. The first few rounds will be different. There's a bunch of different teams that came through, but in terms of like the top level teams that are going to be in this bracket, you have Illinois State again in the bracket for Southern Miss. You have your Northwood again for Southern Miss, which is the main team to look out for. And realistically, there's a chance that USM could play them. That would be in the winners semifinal. So it wouldn't quite be that winners final that would guarantee them points, but it would be in the winners semifinal, which would put them about a round or two away from that point. A qualifying round in the lower side. Regardless, though, I hate to just chalk it up to this. I really do, but Northwood's going to qualify through winners. I think everyone in every bracket knows that. I mean, even Maryville, who's in a completely different bracket, is going to say, yeah, we're looking for Northwood. They're going to qualify through winners. And there's always the chance of an upset day. I mean, any given Saturday, it's the same in college football, any given Saturday. But in Collegiate Rocket League, that is tougher to pull off. Not that it's not tough to pull off otherwise, but beating a team like Northwood or like your Maryvilles is just next to impossible unless if those two are playing each other.
Yes. Now, Southern Miss will have to work their way up to that match, obviously, and they will have to cross paths with Ole Miss, who is, per the last week's poll, the collegiate poll, they're sitting at number 12, while we are sitting at number 20, which is one under Illinois State, who we did lose 2-1. So we have a chance at obviously beating them and getting to play that Northwood to see how we chalk up to these massive, bubble pros. But it should be interesting the way that they work around these players to see how they adjust their play off of last week.
Yeah, and this is a squad that definitely can compete at this level. There's a reason that there's not only a reason they're ranked in the top 20. There's also a reason that they end up competing well at an event like the Uni Rocketeers Worlds event that we had this summer. There's a reason they were in Summer Series. There's a reason that they're still considered at the top of that Collegiate Rocket League space. It's just they have to find a way to get over that hump and really find their way against these teams that are considered better than them, like your Illinois States, your Northwoods, your Maryvilles. And another team that we haven't even mentioned yet that is also in this bracket is going to be Ball State. So last week they were not in the same bracket as Southern Miss, but this week they are. They are considered, at least per that poll that we were referencing before, they were 5th, I believe, overall in that poll. So that's just going to be worth noting. I don't know if Southern Miss will run into them, but there's a chance that they do. They're in a bit of a far side of the bracket, but I do see that it was a DQ from, I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher this name, Barch Bearcats, Barch College. End up DQing to Washington State. So Southern Miss will be starting off their run today against the Cougars, I believe is what their mascot is, of Washington State. So one, going to have a little bit of a ping weirdness on the Central servers. From what I remember, and also from my genuine experience playing the game, the Central servers are a bit wacky sometimes, but it'll be all right. I mean, either way, at least it'll be both teams struggling.
Yeah, I mean, those Central servers are relatively new. I think they just released like 2 to 3 months ago with them. So they're still working out some kinks in it. It shouldn't be too bad. You know, my experience, there's only a couple ping spikes every like 3 matches. So it should be good.
And to clarify the format, or not clarify, but just to reiterate the format, if you weren't here last week, so this is a very large bracket. There are about 200 some teams, I think, signed up for CRL, somewhere in that nature. So what they do is they split all of those teams into 4 separate pools, and the top 2 teams from every pool, 1 through winners, 1 through losers, will qualify for Sunday, which is the top 8 of the entirety of CRL. Top 8 are the ones that get the major amount of points in the overall point system that qualifies you for playoffs. So if you get into that top 8, that's realistically what everyone's goal is, of course, but also what's going to make it so you can qualify for the playoffs and the postseason. That's how you get your CRL tags. That's how you become a CRL competitor, if you will, in the game. So make sure to just be aware of that. Of course, we still have a lot of time as well before we truly get to all of that. We will be starting in winners round 2 today. As I mentioned, there was a bye for Southern Miss, which is why we also started the stream a bit late. If we have a bye, there's no reason to stream because there's nothing to really talk about for the first like 10 or 15 minutes until that preliminary round is truly done. The winners round 2 officially gets its start, which we are in the lobby. We don't have everyone in there yet, so there's going to be a bit of downtime still getting all these Washington State players into the game and all of that. So we do have a little bit more time to talk as well.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how this goes. Now, I don't know much about these Washington State players. I don't believe they were in our pool last week. So it'd be interesting to see how they play, you know, because this might be a threat team. Like, you never know how a team plays. And there were a couple upsets last week that we saw based off of that collegiate poll. Obviously, Northwood ended up losing to, what was the team? Maryville. Ended up losing to Maryville, which Maryville was 4th seeded in that tourney, which Northwood did end up getting the bracket reset on them. However, Maryville did take that 4-1.
Yeah, and both of those series and finals were 4-1. As you said, the first one went to Northwood 4-1, and then the second one to Maryville 4-1.
Yes. So it should be interesting. I'm excited to see how these teams play, what ends up happening, but it looks like we are loading into the match right now.
But we do have a team ready in the next round to go with this. It is Lynx CEM. I am not trying to, that name is another French Canadian school that I am just reading this and there's not a chance I read it right. And I don't want to really bad that I struggle to say certain things. This is one of those. I'm reading this name, I don't even know what you would even do to pronounce that. It's definitely a French Canadian school. Lynx CEM is who we'll be awaiting in the next round for the winner of this game, which we have now officially loaded in. We can get on into it. Southern Miss will be on the blue side with Washington State over on the orange side. We will fix that overlay after this game because if we tab out, there's always the chance it just completely blanks the screen. And we don't want to do that when you've got action going on. It'll be ambiguous. Name is not fully on there, so I can't see it right now. Save from Melodic very early on, 15 seconds in, and Melodic having are actually going for a shot. Sorry, I was misreading the sides as I said that we will fix it. But shot from Melodic to start things off, gets another one in there, won't go. Zath is up. Melodic now sending it back mid. You're seeing Melodic playing that point man right now. That's something we've talked about before in previous weeks. Letting Melodic take the first man spot, play as quickly as he can. He is a very, very fast player and has a lot of mechanics to go with it. Tries to get for the dribble into the back of the net, won't get so. And Derail is going to get caught on the post, gives Astro and Zath space. Now Melodic is up, waiting for the pass. It won't come. Astro's just going to go for the fake. Zath now in position as another player mid. That will be Melodic. Will he be able to get back to the ball? No. Astro going to have to take it back out. Now sends it mid once more. Melodic still up, and USM putting on the pressure. It is relentless. Forward, Astro World now going for a goal, and that will be Southern Miss taking the first one of the day.
Melodic has that little redirect off of the sidewall there, straight to Astro in the goal. Southern Miss, I don't think we've seen the ball on their side of the field this entire time. And it's interesting to see Astro play this kind of backboard offensive position where he'll just drop the ball down to Southern Miss players, and he manages to take the double tap right there. It's looking like a very strong start from Southern Miss here. Astro gets that little flip reset off the ball for the double tap straight into their goal. Southern Miss playing a very beautifully offensive game. I think they'll keep this pace up because they're going to need it for these upcoming games. Astro going for that air dribble on sidewall, going to take the dribble, misses the goal, goes for a bump straight to Melodic. Just in the net, a 3-0 lead for Southern Miss, 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
And you can see Astro clearly going for a pass. He doesn't have the boost and knows that there's a player and just needs to make him jump. Knows Melodic's on the backboard, or ready for the backboard as well. You're going to see Southern Miss just slam that one home, especially when it's a 2v1. It's just looking like it will be full Southern Miss in this game. I mean, there's still 3.5 on the clock, but this is the second time the ball is even in their half, and the first time it came on the kickoff of that last goal. And there you go, a pinch. And Zath and Melodic just playing with their food. And to be fair, why not go for the pinch when you have the setup? As it's not the cleanest, but it does the job. Derail also doesn't have the boost to get back. And wow, 4 goals in about a minute and 47 seconds.
I mean, it's Southern Miss is probably going to start going for these odd kickoffs, just giving them any position they can to go for any aerial plays, because that's sort of what WSU is lacking right now, is these aerial plays and aerial defense. We've seen Darrell get stuck on that post on defense, and they're going to need to make any defensive play that they can to try and get that counterattack, because Southern Miss is triple committing on these plays. They don't expect much from this team. You can see they're just throwing themselves at the ball with 0 boost, just going for whatever they can. But WSU does not have much boost themselves, and it seems that he's going for the goal. Almost has it. Barely have it. What a beautiful defense from Southern Miss. Zath going for that corner pinch right into goal. Melodic gonna do a little double tap, little fake there. Zath going up for the double.
Makes it. He tried to turn that quadruple, to be honest with you, but regardless, it won't go through. 2 now on the clock. Zath sending it out mid, and right now Washington State are just struggling to get anywhere near the Southern Miss line of defense to begin with, and you're finally going to see ambiguous Platt 72 going for something, but it won't really mean much when you got a passing play like that's going to be a double. Won't connect for Astro, but Zath is there. Now popped it up for Melodic. Is the third man. There he is, but won't connect with the back of the net. You're going to have Zath again sending it on up. Astro looking for the double. Won't connect, but there's still plenty of time for Southern Miss to find another goal, but also they don't realistically need it at this point in time. It's pretty much all written in stone that it will be game number 1 going over to Southern Miss. Melodic just looking to put insult to injury. Astro is there, but once again, you're seeing Southern Miss just continually passing the ball, being very smart about where they are placing it. Zath putting in the 5th just for good measure. A minute 7, but realistically, this one is all said and done.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost impossible to get 5 goals in a minute and 7 seconds. realistically, like if you make a good goal play, it'll take off kickoff about 7 seconds to make a goal. 4 if the other team just didn't make that good rotation. But on Southern Miss, it's going to be pretty hard for you to make any good kickoff play because they play these kickoffs very smart, and WSU almost had the shot off there. Darrell gonna beat Zath to that ball, open net. Astro manages to make that save. None of the WSU players have enough boost, and it looks like it's an open net for Melodic, but he's gonna take it up to the ceiling trying to get anything he can, but didn't quite get the pop on the ball that he needed. Zath for trying to make a pass, I think, just misses the little wave dash there, and Melodic double commits from Southern Miss all over, leaving it open. But WSU not able to capitalize on the ball. It seems as if this is going to be a Southern Miss win. Melodic going for a psycho, manages to hit it, didn't have quite enough power. Astro does get to it though, and I think that's going to be a Southern Miss win.
That didn't hit ground there? I thought it did, but we will see it just go into the back of the net one more time. Zath, Melodic combining for another. They have had a lot of passing plays here in game 1, and you're going to see another one right there, looking to keep it up in game number 2. So what I want to talk about Washington State, something that absolutely has not been helping them a ton, is the fact that they simply just whiffed on the ball a multitude of times. Every player from Southern Miss having 2 goals, every goal being assisted as well. Just great work all around from Southern Miss. Very strong showing to start off this game. I mean, I didn't even know there was a possibility for someone to have 4 saves on Southern Miss, but you're gonna see Astro with that as well. Just a lot of all-around effort. There's a reason that scoreline was 6-0.
I mean, just beautiful plays there from Southern Miss, passing around the opposing team. And even though, you know, there was a bit of a defensive misplay from Washington State, they did end up pushing Southern Miss back a little bit, because Southern Miss went from getting 4 goals in 2 minutes to 2 goals in 3. So Washington State is picking up the pace here a little bit. They're going to have to obviously make these plays smarter. You know, they're taking their time. They're not just banging the ball out. A nice little shot on there, saved by Astro. And they're just, Darrell looking to go for these bumps on Astro, kind of just double committing themselves on the attack, throwing themselves on the ball. Melodic demoed out by Strider. Darrell trying to get any touch he can. Zath going to get that pass middle. Melodic taking a shot, top left bins. Melodic scores the first goal. 4 minutes and 21 seconds left.
So something I have noticed a little bit is that Washington State is doing a better job of contesting the ball. They're still, obviously they go down in the game here 1-0, but they're doing a better job of being a bit faster, contesting when they need to, or at least generally, as that one's a very slow roller. Melodic does manage to get back to it, but it's kind of goes to something I was talking to you about yesterday when we were playing a little bit. It's that, and that being like lower level players in Rocket League, it feels like there's so many times where when they go up against someone that's better than them, as Melodic slots another one through 2-0 Southern Miss, they just kind of turtle up and stop challenging the ball like you would see them doing like their normal rank and that sort of thing. And that's what I'd like to see Washington State do. I'd like to see them start pressuring Southern Miss. They might not have the mechanics, they might not have quite the same amount of skill, but you can still absolutely contest the ball, as it's going to be a kickoff goal. Melodic has a hat trick in the first minute of the game. I'm not even getting a chance to make my point before goals are being scored.
Yeah, I mean, and I do remember we play, you sit around, I believe it's Champ 1, Diamond 3, if I'm correct, right?
Me?
Yes.
I am like Diamond, I'm technically right now I'm like Diamond 1, Diamond 2, but my peak is like Champ 1.
Yeah. And I'm GC, and I'll be honest, you challenging people really helped a lot, because I didn't have to worry about getting back real fast because I knew you were there, which it honestly surprises me that you're Diamond.
And that's a double reset from Melodic, almost a pinch too into the air. I mean, this is what happens when you give a team like this space. Although I will say that was a good attempt at a contest from Strider, just a little bit off target. And the second that first reset goes and Melodic is still on ball, you know it's going straight into the back of the net one way or another. We aren't even 2 minutes in, and again we are down at looking at a 4-0 deficit. Melodic with another reset. I mean, it feels like they're just handing this to them.
That's 5 goals for Melodic.
Oh yeah. Also, don't let the scoreboard fool you. It is 1-0 USM. They won game 1 6-0. They are now up 5-0 in game 2. They are going to go on to play Lynx. I mean, I feel really bad writing off Washington State this early, but let's take a look at the scoreboard. Let's be a little bit realistic. There's about 3.5 on the clock, so there is at least time to get it back. But Southern Miss would have to have some, quite frankly, abhorrent play if they were to lose this one.
Yeah, and it looks like almost a goal coming off from Southern Miss there. They're double committing a lot. I think they all want a goal now. Melodic having 5, and Zath and Melodic.
They are fighting over the ball. They are fighting over the ball more than Washington State is currently getting much of a chance to do. That should show you right there how this series has been going.
Yeah,
Well,
Zath.
I was going to say if that does.
Yeah, Astro almost slotting that off left. Melodic gonna go for that double touch, and it seems as if Washington State is kind of fumbling over each other. We've seen the same level of bump plays, even though Southern Miss probably is on purpose bumping each other at this point. But Astro or Zath gonna go for that. Astro slotting it down. Strider, I think, not able to make that save. Let's see. Oh, that was Darrell. A little bit of a fumble on the corner there. Almost had that flipped the wrong way. 6-0 Southern Miss. 2 minutes and 30 seconds left.
I'm sorry. I just don't really have much to say now. This is pretty unfortunate draw, to be honest, if you are Washington State Gray. But I'd imagine you're signing up for these tournaments with the mindset you're getting better. You obviously want to win games, of course, but you're playing against a team that you absolutely know is quite better than you, regardless. So your goal is to just go and see what they do.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, wow. I mean, I couldn't have said it better, Melodic. Unbelievable passing play. That's a 3-piece. Find the biscuit in the back of the net too. That will make it 7-0. I mean, yeah, if you're derail, I'd be doing the same thing. What are you supposed to do? Also floating on target, at least saved though by ambiguous plat. So there's at least something to go off of. And as I was saying, if you are Washington State in this position, you're looking to just kind of see how they play, see what their rotations look like, go and basically just get better. And that's your ideal situation. Of course, your ideal situation would be winning the whole thing, but like you have to remember where you're at in relation to the rest of the field. So not a great showing from Washington State, but at the same time, I can't say anyone really expected them to put up a massive fight against a team like Southern Miss.
Yeah, I mean, and also I'd like to turn our attention to Derail's car. The preset is so odd. It's vivid, very vivid. I don't even know. I think that's
the
kaleidoscope.
decal? Yeah.
The decal is kaleidoscope.
I also see Melodic is at 1,000 points right now. He has 9 shots, 5 goals, also has a few saves to his name. So Southern Miss certainly having a field day in this one. Not every match will be like this. So just for this time being, we will see Southern Miss though. The 2L, they will head on to play Lynx CEM. I don't know. We definitely don't have their logo on file, so hopefully we'll be able to find it somewhere before the next series, but we are probably going to hop straight into it. So there, unfortunately for production's sake, there won't be a lot of time to where that one would be at, but you're going to see ambiguous play, at least looking to get it to be a 1, but will not go. Although if I'm Washington State, I don't even want to score at this point because that's going to be a Brazil. And although I do speak some Spanish, I'm not a big fan of getting Brazil personally.
I would want to score just so
I would want to
say
score
that
for
I
momentum's
scored.
sake. Yeah, exactly. At the same time, the Brazil is a bit embarrassing, unfortunately. But against a team like this, I guess it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Because look at the quality of team you're playing is okay.
And
Well,
Zath puts it in. Zath
Okay.
What is with you and calling out things into existence?
If you're here for Apex yesterday, this happened a multitude of times. I mean, to be fair, no one can predict Zath just intentionally slamming into the back of his own net with 3 seconds left in the series, but just some Rocket League things, and that one will hit ground, so that will be it for the series. That'll be a 2-0, and Southern Miss gonna go on to play Lynx CEM. Be your second series of the day, which we'll probably just get straight into, outside of obviously having to get the players into the lobby and stuff like that. But I don't know anything about this school. I've never heard of them. Their players are Dax, Amaru, and El Coco. El Coco. Sorry, I butchered that pretty hard, but those are the players at Lynx. That's really all the information I have on them. I've never heard of this school. I don't know if they played an open one, which I would assume they did, but there's really not a ton to go out of, at least in terms of this school. As far as I can tell, the name also probably French Canadian, seeing what their name is and how is unpronounceable for someone that only really speaks English like myself.
Yeah, I'm not much of a. I'm French myself. I don't speak it, so I would have no idea. But I'm interested to see how this game goes. It might go a little bit of the same way as this first match has gone, just due to the fact that we really don't know what this team is. They didn't show up on any of the collegiate polls. They weren't in the winners for the last Sunday. They weren't in the bracket last Sunday. So it'll be interesting to see how this team plays. It probably is going to go the same way.
I could very well see it going USM's way in the fashion that we just saw. Maybe not as badly, but realistically, I'm assuming it will be a relatively quick series for Southern Miss. But of course, we can't even go off of their previous round because they got a DQ win. So we have the most minimal amount of information on this team that you could possibly have, and so we just kind of have to wait for what we see from this team. But looking at the rest of the bracket for where USM will be playing, if they do win this next round, they will play the winner of Kaiser, the winner of St. Clair/Cal, which it looks like St. Clair Academy, not St. Clair Main, not St. Clair B, St. Clair Academy, which is a separate third roster, I believe, as St. Clair Green and St. Clair Gold were in the top poll that we've been mentioning. But this team, the St. Clair Academy team, is a different squad. So that is someone else that is out there. And they will not be in, or that is the team that they would be playing if they beat Kaiser. So still a long ways to go for the day. Of course, that is just your first series. Always a decent bit of action, and it looks like we are straight into this. Don't mind the name. It is Lynx CEM, not Washington State, of course, but we are now into series number 2. You can see Dax, Amaru, and El Coco here ready, queued on up. Melodic sending it out mid, looking to take the shot. Won't go. Astro there to contest. So Southern Miss keeping possession for the time being. Astro again going to send it out to Melodic. El Coco there to redirect it away. Dax now looking for the midfield. Won't find anything, but Amaru is in position, going to keep this in the Southern Miss half. We'll see if they can make anything of this possession, but likely the answer might be no. Zath will at least keep that one away. El Coco gets bumped his teammate. That's going to be an open net. That is an unfortunate misplay for Lynx CEM. Southern Miss going up 1-0 in just 40 seconds. And did I just see someone leave the game? Join back. I thought one of the Southern Miss players just left the join back, but I think that was just a bug on our side.
Now, it's interesting. It seems like Southern Miss was testing the waters a little bit and realized that they couldn't just offensively attack this team over and over again, as instantly Lynx managed to get a shot off of them. Almost ended up getting a goal right there. Southern Miss is going to get bumped off by Amari, which is a really good thing. Can Dax make that double commit? Saved by Astro. Zath gonna try and make a solo play with that. El Coco ended up getting the touch off. A quick shot there by Amaru. Zath gonna be able to get to that. Tried, couldn't make it. Dax with a quick shot up to Zath. Zath passing it back down to Melodic. Melodic gonna have to flick over one to Astro, who doesn't end up beating, but still stays on the ball. Bumped off. Zath up for it, gonna take a double tap. Can't quite get there. Astro just trying to take a touch. Melodic ended up getting there. Straight down the middle. Dax playing it very slowly, and that's just a top right slot from Zath. Really did not know what was happening that entire game. A little bit of a miss jump there from Dax. Should have taken the low 50, but it's okay. 2-0 Southern Miss, 3 minutes and 20 seconds left.
Really liking the bump plays that we're seeing out of CEM, but they need to find ways to capitalize on them better as Astro gets a demo. Dax is just going to launch that one on target. I believe it was a little bit off. I think it was going to hit the post. But regardless, Southern Miss won't take that one away. But CEM doing a great job of just being aggressive, being on the ball, being on the players of Southern Miss. They are getting a lot of bumps that are at least giving them some space, and that's how you beat a team like Southern Miss, especially as I was saying earlier, when you play aggressive against a team that is a higher rank or higher skill level than you. If you are being aggressive on ball and on the players, you give yourself a much better chance. You allow yourself to have the space, but it doesn't even matter in this case as Astro going to get the double tap. Zath tries to hit the backboard but won't get there, gets contested. Doesn't matter. Your third man is just a little bit faster even without boost. 2:39 on the clock. 3-0 Southern Miss.
I mean, we can tell that CEM's playing this really a lot better than WSU was last game, but still just getting slaughtered. And Southern Miss has picked up the pace a little bit. As you can see, they are these passing plays, almost getting a shot off there by CEM. Astro gonna stay on this ball. Almost an unfortunate little goal there. But Zath gonna try and stay on top of that. Dax is gonna just take the flip reset, not able to do anything with it really. Amaru is gonna hit it straight to Zath. Melodic goes up for the redirect, but Zath able to get that second touch. Amaru gonna try and take this all the way across the goal. Gonna take a flick, question mark. Doesn't end up doing it. Melodic and Astro both jump for that, but Melodic stays on the ball. Unfortunate little flip there. That's gonna try and take a solo play. Flip reset over one, manages to get the touch.
USM are overcommitting a lot in this game, and they did it last game too. Now, realistically, it's not going to cause them trouble here. As you can see, they're up 4-0 for a reason. Astro just getting a goal there. And even in the last series, they also were overcommitting pretty heavily. You're seeing a lot of double commits, even triple commits, and there's even team bumping that we're noticing here. And against these teams that you know you're going to beat, it's not really an issue. Realistically, like, it's not going to be an issue against teams of the caliber of like Lynx or of WSU Gray. But when you start playing those higher quality teams that they will guaranteed see, Ole Miss, Illinois State, Northwood, Maryville, all of those types of teams, even Ball State, you can't have that style of play. It will allow you to have some form of space on the map, but when you're starting to bump your own teammates, when you're starting to steal boosts from your own teammates, that sort of stuff, it's just not going to be effective. And we saw last week, it was very punishing. They weren't able to make those adjustments, and I don't have concerns right now for Southern Miss, of course. I mean, look at the scoreboard, but at the same time, you have to be thinking about that in the back of your head. And if you are Southern Miss, just want to be aware of it for the time being and make sure you're making those proper adjustments either later in these earlier rounds or to get into those bigger, larger, more important matchups with the better teams. Not that these aren't important here, as finally you're going to see Lynx get on the board, but with just 33 seconds left, it is a 3-goal deficit. Dax at least putting one on the board, though, for the Lynx CEM.
Yeah, and last week, whenever they played Boise State, they were a little bit on the slower side. Obviously, we saw a lot of double commits from Southern Miss, and they couldn't adjust fast enough. And by the time they got to Illinois State in the lower bracket, their adjustments were too little too late. They ended up getting pushed out, but did end up taking a game off of Illinois State. And as you see, there's a little bit of a double commit play, but it works out for Astro with the pass off by Melodic. Melodic trying to take a solo play there, bumped by Astro, but Astro gets that little ground touch there. What an insane goal. 5-1 Southern Miss. It's looking like a Southern Miss win here with only 14 seconds left in this game. Southern Miss gonna all go for that. Melodic takes a little touch. Astro gonna jump for it, manages to get the hit. 7 seconds left. Nothing really that CEM can do here. It's just gonna be game, set, and match after Southern Miss obviously gets done. And that is a Southern Miss first game win. And we're going into game 2.
Yeah, and I expect kind of more of the same for game 2. And I do see, again, a Southern Miss player has left the game. I think that was Zath. So I'm not 100% sure what's going on there. Maybe just switching a preset or something, or there's also the potential for settings that are broken, stuff like that. So we'll get into the game, and I do see he's readied up. So probably just changing a preset. That would be my guess. Like that's just the only thing I could even think of.
Yeah.
But we will be heading into game number 2 here a bit quicker than you would maybe expect when a player leaves the game. They don't have to close app, rejoin. It's not like COD, Halo, or there's other titles where you have to sit there for 10 minutes in a menu, just like waiting.
Well, they more than likely have all the presets that they like using already on, so they just click that garage, flip to the preset, and then rejoin the match off the bottom of the screen. And it doesn't seem like Zath has changed his car all that much. He's still in that very nice looking Fennec.
I thought he was in an Octane.
Was he?
I think he was. I could be wrong, but I thought Zath was in an Octane to start the day. I could be completely wrong, though. Regardless, we are now into game number 2. Southern Miss starting out defensively. You can see Lynx at least putting on some pressure, much better than what we saw previously. They got scored on relatively quickly in game 1, and we'll see if Southern Miss can replicate that. They're going to send it out to the corner. That's a 50 for Melodic. Now Astro and Zath actually both pushed up. Melodic last man back. He was getting bump chased, but didn't end up actually getting bumped, and that's exactly what I was talking about earlier in game 1 about getting the bumps if you are Lynx. And look at that little touch. It should be in the net, but Astro is simply there. You'll see that's exactly why Southern Miss will win games. For saves like that, you see Melodic make those saves. You see Asher make those saves. Even Zath will get involved on this types of saves fairly often. And that's exactly how you're going to find those victories in those your games if you are Southern Miss.
Yeah, and it looks like CEM manages to pick off an early goal here from Southern Miss. Southern Miss in a unfortunate position. Zath again leaving the match.
Yeah, I sorry to bring it up so many times. It just, I'm not used to, I don't know why he would have left the game. I don't know if they're going to, they're not going to go for kickoff here probably, as actually they do. I don't know if they're going to play this out or what they're going to do, as Melodic just gets a pinch. It doesn't look like they're going to play it out. I actually just don't know, but they may now start play since Zath has joined back, as it looks like that will be the case here. 1-0 though for Lynx, certainly unexpected result there. Maybe it was connection that was causing Zath to want to leave.
Changed his wheels from the titanium.
I'm surprised you even noticed that. That is insane. There's no way that's the only reason you would leave a game. That's just that's one, I think, against the rules, but two, just not something that players should be doing. Anyways, Astro gonna go for that center, and he does get it there. It's a bit slow. That'll require the rest of the squad to speed on up. You're going to see Melodic do just that. Gets it out mid once again. Not anyone there. Zath, though, will catch that, and it's an open net. So 2:45 on the clock. You're going to see Southern Miss tie it on up. Apologies for the kind of low energy level. It feels like, from what I'm seeing, Southern Miss just has full control, regardless of the scoreline. It just feels like they have so much control of this game and this series that I'm not really sure what more I can fully say about this one.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a little bit odd, seeing a player leave just to change their wheels.
I think it had to be something more than the wheels. There's definitely no way it was just the wheels. As Melodic is going to leave that, a miscomm from the rest of the team. Amaru going to get a free goal. I'm not really sure what the play was there. I think Melodic was trying to leave that for, I think it was Astro on the right side, but Astro didn't quite get the calm. So that's a free shot and goal for Lynx. They're going to get another lead here in game 2. USM, I don't really know what they're doing here, to be honest.
No, not at all. And I couldn't tell you what their game plan is. They're missing easy balls. Melodic missed one. Zath just with a whiff. I have no idea what is going on with them right now. Melodic takes a quick shot, unable to get there. Zath jumps a little too early, almost own goals. Astro able to get there to take the ball away. Gonna try and take a 50, manages to get it.
But touch underside of his car. That was very solid. I mean, that was probably going in the back of their net if he didn't get a touch there. It's now Melodic sending it downfield off the back wall. Not enough power on it. Southern Miss will have to regroup, and they will do just that. Zath almost putting another one in, as it'll be Astro picking this up. Is there a second touch? There is. Melodic, though, gets contested, and this is exactly what I'm saying. Lynx, they just need to keep contesting the ball, and that's exactly what will get you wins against a team like Southern Miss, regardless of your skill level. Astro now has to contest. Melodic has to go backwards a little bit, but he will have the opportunity to make a play, has the boost to do it. We saw him hit a double reset last game, won't go through. Zath off the back wall, now up for Astro, has the reset, but a misplay, not able to get full control of the speed of the car. Now a minute left in the game. Lynx with a lead. They could take game number 2. They could send us to 3.
Yeah, Southern Miss, knowing that in that instant that they had them boost starved, Zath going for a high shot. Melodic takes an easy shot straight into the middle of the net. Oh my gosh, CEM doing really well on this defensive play, but Amaro jumping too early and missing that ball, almost has that save, unable to get there. Southern Miss 2-2, 48 seconds left. This could go into an overtime.
Would like to see an overtime. It just feels very out of place in this game, as Dax will get demoed by Melodic, who will almost take the goal, maybe should have taken that, but ran out of boost, I think so. Maybe was trying to get above the ball to spike it down and then couldn't. They're running out of boost, but we'll at least get more. Grabs the mid pad as to go with it. Now trying to get the read onto Dax, won't go. Zath, next man up, a shot, has a goal. Top left corner, and that's exactly what you get when you give space to a team like Southern Miss. Even got bumped there, but manages to get the flip, finds the ball, good read, good shot, goal. Zath is making Southern Miss, or might be sending Southern Miss into the next round.
Yeah, I mean, that pre-flip double tap there from Zath, and he's gonna try and end it off here with another one, unable to get that double. What a beautiful play there from Zath, using that flip to recover off of the bump. Astro flying across the middle of the net with the ball. Southern Miss doesn't need to make a goal here. They just need to end it. But CEM looking to make that last minute play. Astro going to take a low 50 straight into the ground. And that is a Southern Miss win. 3-2 game 2, 2-0 match and point.
That will be a 2-0 victory for Southern Miss there. Now, I don't believe the next round is ready. Yeah, we're going to be waiting for a little bit. St. Clair Academy and Cal Blue have started their series. They are 15 minutes into it, so that one should be either in game 3 or wrapping up relatively soon. The winner of that will then play Kaiser, with the winner of that series, a little bracketology for you all, will play Southern Miss. And after that, well, we're going to have a little bit of waiting again. So it's going to be probably about 15 to 20-ish minutes before we get into the next series. But real quick, let's just talk a little bit about that series. So 2-0 for Southern Miss in that one. Game 2 gets a bit weird at the end. Not at the end. The entire game was just weird. I don't know what was happening. I'm still a bit lost on what I just saw, but regardless, they pull out the victory, and that's what matters at the end of the day, is that you win the game. And then in the previous series, 2-0, relatively quick. It was probably about maybe 15 minutes. Quick 2-0 of Washington State Gray, a 2-0 over Lynx CEM. But that's going to do it for us for right now. I'm not wrapping up the stream, but we are just taking an extended break. We'll have probably about 15-ish minutes before we get into our next series. So just go take the time, grab a snack, grab some food, go grab a drink, even whatever you want to do, and go get that college football stuff set up on the second monitor. It's a big day today in college football, so go get that set up on your other monitor as well. But we will catch you guys back on the other side of this break when we're ready to start off the next series with Southern Miss taking on either Kaiser, St. Clair Academy, or Cal Blue. We'll see you on the other side. sure where they will go outside of obviously going down to the losers bracket. But that's obvious, I feel. But we'll just have to wait for these two teams to ready on up and then get into the lobby and get things started. So St. Clair Academy taking a 2-0 over Kaiser. They also 2-0'd Cal Blue, which Cal Blue came in through that first round in winners round 1. St. Clair was able to take them down pretty quickly. That was a 2-0. And then Kaiser also again a 2-0. Then now they will be taking on Southern Miss, who has also not dropped the map today. They 2-0'd Washington State pretty handily, and they 2-0'd Lynx CEM relatively quickly as well. So we should be realistically getting into the matches that will be a bit closer. And hopefully we get to see some better games. They've been pretty rough today so far.
Yeah, Southern Miss definitely. Some would say it was an interesting last little match that they had against Lynx CEM
in game 2 at least.
Game 2.
Game 1 was still pretty solid, but game 2 was a bit weird in how everything went down, but should be able to get into this series relatively quickly. St. Clair has readied on up, just waiting for Southern Miss to not only ready up, but then also get into the lobby. Curious about this one. Seen St. Clair a good bit. This is their 3rd team, I believe. So it's a different St. Clair than what you would normally see. It's not like their main roster. It's not even their 2nd roster, of which both of those are ranked teams. This is St. Clair Academy, which is one of their, I believe that when they're called Academy, they're considered a club team by the school. So it's a little bit of a different vibe than what you would see with a St. Clair Green or Gold, or even the ones that just call themselves St. Clair Saints. I don't think they do that for Rocket League, but that's a whole different story. That gets into like the meat and potatoes of collegiate esports and the nature of having 100 teams, which I am seeing. Ole Miss did beat Rogers State. They 2-0'd them 4-1 and 6-1. So they will be in the winners quarterfinal, which means the winner of this series between St. Clair and Southern Miss will be taking on Ole Miss for a spot in that winner's semifinal, where it'll almost guaranteed be Northwood Blue that they would be taking on. But of course, that's dependent on San Diego State and University of Tennessee at Knoxville, which we'll have to find out if that becomes relevant for us, depending on, of course, this series and then the series after, which we just need to pop into the lobby and we will be a-okay to hop into this game, into this series. At least continue on with the day. We shouldn't have too many more breaks now. Looking at the bracket, the only way we would have a break is if Southern Miss would win this game and then lose. Then we would be waiting for a little bit of time. But if USM ends up winning this game and then wins the next one, then of course we'll again get straight into it. But then if that's a loss, then you're getting into the territory of waiting for like an hour.
Yeah, which would be interesting. I definitely am going to take a snack break if that ends up happening. But I think they're going to end up beating St. Clair Academy, going on to this Ole Miss team, and possibly beating them. That game should go to game 3. If I'm being honest,
the Southern Miss Ole Miss game.
Southern Miss Ole Miss should go to a game 3, like we saw with Illinois State, and then it'll be an interesting match against Northwood. Now, obviously, Southern Miss is going to have to take this St. Clair Academy game a little more seriously, just because of their future opponents. They have number 12 spot and number 1. It should be interesting to see how they play. We've seen them make these incredible passing plays in the first 2 games that they played. So we'll have to see how they start adjusting in preparation for these future teams.
St. Clair Academy rosters would like to imagine a bit more quality than what they've played. Not saying what they've played is like really, really bad, but the teams they've played so far are not teams that have really given them much of a challenge. So what we should be seeing from the St. Clair Academy roster is something relatively close to that, in terms of not quite an Ole Miss. They're not a Redbird. They're not in like a BPC, but our team that could at least force Southern Miss to be a bit more disciplined in how they're playing. Something that has been, I don't want to say a struggle for the Southern Miss roster, but it is something that we have noticed time and time again. The discipline can sometimes be a bit lacking, and that's really what causes so many mistakes from Southern Miss, especially in those larger games, like your Redbirds, like your Mizzous, like your Northwoods, Maryville, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and Southern Miss definitely might have to take advantage of this, rotating boost. They do a really good job most of the time at demoing these players off the ball, which is what they're going to have to end up doing. It looks like we have started the game. Melodic here with an early goal right off of kickoff, 2 seconds into the game already. A nice little 50 to the right in between. Straight into the bottom right of the net. True unable to get there with the boost that he had. Oh, Southern Miss 2 seconds in.
Yeah, I mean, not much to really say there. These are players I don't quite recognize from St. Clair Academy. That was just a good kickoff strat from Southern Miss. As you see Kipper go for a shot there, won't connect onto the ball. Melodic does get demoed by Kipper, though. Now looking off the backboard, not going to find much there. So Southern Miss going to again look to control the midfield and just control the pace of play. That's where they find the most success, especially against these rosters that are ones that they should be beating pretty handily. And we may see just that as a good shot attempt in, and probably more so of a pass rather, as Zach just dribbles over two. Third is nowhere near. Well, I shouldn't say nowhere near. He was there, but far enough that it didn't matter. True not able to get a stop, and that second player not able to get a stop either. That would be fatal. Kipper not in position, didn't have boost. Goal for Southern Miss. Just about 30, a little over 30 seconds in, we've already gotten a 2-0 lead.
What a beautiful touch there by Zath. Off of that air dribble, that touch was a lot higher than I think the St. Clair Academy players thought it was going to be. Able to get it right over and in for that double tap. In there, Melodic playing in Octane this game, not in the Fennec, which is interesting. We'll see how he adjusts. Zath trying to wait out True there. Kipper up for that ball, just popping it high. Melodic gonna take a touch, beats True, able to get a 50 read. Zath putting the shot on goal. Fatal gonna get there. Astro trying to get that read off the ball. Melodic hitting it to Zath. Zath almost able to slot that in a little bit too right for what they wanted. Fatal just gonna pop that to the left corner. Melodic going up. Zath went for the double, but Kipper able to get there. True's gonna have to beat Astro. Manages to get it around him. Can't quite get the second touch off Melodic. A whiff for both players there. Melodic playing that touch, but missing. Fatal getting the touch out to Kipper. Kipper gonna take control, let his team grab boost. A little bit of an interesting air dribble. Beat that anyway, though. Gonna hit it up. Throw to middle, right to Melodic in a bottom left slot. 3-0 Southern Miss. Beautiful passing plays coming out from the boys.
So I was going to mention, I didn't actually get the chance to before Melodic scores another goal there. I was going to say, I want to see Melodic step up here. It seemed like since he switched that Octane, he was a bit more inconsistent with his touches and with his shots, with the control he has over the ball, but seems like he's brought it back in. Of course, when you change between the Fennec and the Octane, the hitboxes aren't that crazily different. There's a great shot from Fatal.
Exactly.
Kipper bumps the player that was in net. That was a perfect team play from the side of St. Clair Academy. Fatal with a solid shot. Kipper making the smart play, getting into Zath's way, forcing him to get forced all the way back into the net, not giving him a chance to get that save. So St. Clair Academy at least keeping it close.
As you said, switching from that Octane to the Fennec, they are exactly the same hitbox, both Octane hitbox. However, Rocket League is a major mental game, so that switch in the way that the hitbox even looks,
yeah, and
could mess you up.
They feel like, at least for me personally, obviously I'm not a high level player, but for me personally, they feel like two completely different cars. Like, despite having the same hitbox and there being basically no differences between them, it feels so different using a Fennec compared to an Octane. I don't know why.
I have no idea either. As a GC1, I'm a mainly Octane player, but whenever I have played with Fennec, back when it was meta, like more meta than it is now, it feels a lot better to play with, just because the hitbox is a lot more, it matches along the hitbox a lot more than an Octane would, which makes it better for players because they can actually see what they're doing with the ball, which is interesting that Melodic has switched out, almost going for that ceiling ground. I'm stumbling over my words. even know what I'm
Super
trying to say.
pinch.
Yeah,
Super pinch. Max plus. Free streaming service out there for finding a different way to say the same word. As Kipper gonna go for a shot. Is there to clean it up. Now another opportunity for St. Clair Academy. Good bump, and that's exactly what will get you wins, but not the double commit. That's not what's going to win you the game. Now Asher's going to have a chance to shoot. Will at least get contested. So St. Clair Academy getting back the the recovery speed, very, very solid, as you saw in that play. There's a double commit and somehow still managing to at least have one or two players back.
Yeah, Zath gonna take this up. Southern Miss unable to capitalize on these offensive double commits, but it doesn't really matter as long as they keep this lead. It's 3-1, looking like Southern Miss's game. St. Clair Academy is going to have to pick up the pace here, and almost a shot that just flies in. Kipper able to make the read on the double, knowing that he didn't have to jump for that. True going for a top right shot, ends up missing, gets the bump off of Zath. Another shot coming off from Fatal, tries to get the bump on Astro. Astro jumps off, but fatally misses the ball. And Astro gonna take another shot. True beat him to the ball, gets the double off the wall. Kipper gonna take this. One boost left in the tank, grabs the 100. And Fatal is going to have to make a play here. There's 8 seconds left. It's looking to be a Southern Miss win.
And it will be just that now as the clock strikes midnight. Fatal may just let this hit ground and does just that. Want to get to game 2, especially seeing how close this one was. Want to get right back into it, see if you can change up some things and get at least some form of victory here. Send it to 3, at least make it competitive. Not that it wasn't here. As you can see, 5 saves from Fatal. Looking to at least keep St. Clair Academy in this one, but you can see the shot count from Southern Miss is just way too drastic.
I mean, 4 shots from Malak, shots from Zath, 3 shots from Astro, and they only managed to slot 3 in, but that's the only 3 they needed. Is St. Clair only made, I think, a total of 4 shots and only made 1 of them. So they're going to have to pick up the speed at which these shots count. And it really doesn't matter how many shots you shoot. You have to score them. That's the only shots that really matter. But you could tell Southern Miss has that offensive pressure all of the time. Fatal going to take an easy shot. No real third man there. Was playing Astro's beat there. And Melodic going to take a jump, dribbles it, tries to get a low 50, ends up getting it. True gonna go low underneath Astro. Fatal hits it up. Melodic is going to be there. Manages to read the misplay. Melodic going up for a little bit of an air dribble play. Down to ceiling. Gets the able to get the second touch. His wheels did not land in time. That would have been a beautiful goal, and it looks like it's open for St. Clair Academy, but Astro manages to take it. Melodic just gonna go and try to go upfield. True manages to block it, tries to hit it down to his team, blocks Zath pinch. St. Clair Academy on the offensive attack right now. Missing.
Something I would like to see from St. Clair Academy here is to continue evolving those bump plays. That's really what gave them opportunities in the last game. That's why it was so close, because they were playing when they were on the offense. They were finding ways to get into the back of the net, get a bump, get a demo, do whatever to keep those Southern Miss players out of the way defensively. You're not going to be able to score on Southern Miss without some form of bump, without some form of demo. It's just going to be impossible to break through that defensive barrier, especially when you have players like Melodic and Astro, who we've seen make unbelievable acrobatic saves. You just have to find ways to get them out of position, even if it comes through the rotation, just finding a way to break through that defensive line, getting those players out of position. That's your main way of breaking through.
Yeah, and as we can see, St. Clair takes a quick shot, manages to bounce off that outside post. A little bit of a double commit there. Southern Miss. Luckily, St. Clair did not have quite the attack that they wanted. Melodic staying on this offensive pressure, which he's done really well in these past games. Another defensive double commit that he hits down. Astro trying to get ammo on Kipper. 50'd out by True. Zath's gonna take over this offensive attack. try and get a bump on one, manages to go down, gets the bump on Kipper, but Kipper had the ball, and it looks like another St. Clair Academy attack is True going up for that ball. Another double commit from Melodic and Astro, almost leaving the goal open, but Astro able to get that save yet again. We've seen Astro make beautiful saves this match. I mean, just making up for his team's double committing. True on the ball. Zath gonna take a little air dribble, try and take control of this. Manages to pass it off to Melodic. Melodic almost with that open net. A beautiful little dribble. Astro, or all of Southern Miss, basically on zero boost with Zath picking up that 100 pad, but getting demoed off. They're gonna have to create something here to push them across the field.
Yeah, St. Clair Academy doing a great job of holding Southern Miss back, at least at the time for the time being, but how long will they be able to keep up this pressure? Now a minute 40, still no goals scored in this game. It's going to be scoreless probably until the end if this keeps on up. Melodic going to steal that one away, but wisely so, as Astro all the way on the wall now looks to find another center. Won't be there. Southern Miss need to be careful on those double commits. We've talked about it a couple times, but realistically they are double committing way too often for things to work out, especially against a roster like St. Clair Academy. Yeah, they're not necessarily fully up to their skill level, but at the same time, they're a team that's definitely good enough to at least punish them for it, as Melodic from the heavens strikes it down a thunderous goal, as that one will be might be the decider, might be the dagger for St. Clair Academy in the winners bracket.
Yeah, and that's 4 minutes to score one goal. Melodic just had that beautiful touch onto the backboard with the double tap, and it seems as if Zath is going to take on 3 of St. Clair's players off of kickoff. 50, another 50, and just a slot right in the goal. What a goal from Southern Miss.
Didn't even need boost, at least at the end there. I mean, that's just a bad kickoff from St. Clair Academy. That's purely unacceptable to give that up. You had 2 players get 50s, and the third has boost but isn't back towards net. Or they were, but they weren't at the same time. They weren't back far enough towards net. That's going to cost you right there. Is now it'll be once again St. Clair Academy trying to get something going, but at this point in the game, I don't know if you're going to be able to come back. It's 40 seconds left, and there's realistically not much time to make it up. But those are 2 whiffs that you cannot have, both for Fatal and for Zath. True now trying to find the center. Does get to the midfield, but not for very long. 27 now, 25 on the board. This should be pretty much game, especially if Southern Miss gets one more shot into the back St. Clair Academy net, but they may just be sending the Saints to the losers bracket, and that is what they have guaranteed just done. 14 seconds on the clock, a 3-0 lead, and that will be another 2-0 for Southern Miss. They will go on to play Ole Miss in the winners quarterfinal.
Yeah, St. Clair Academy managed to hold off Southern Miss for about 4 minutes, but Southern Miss managed to find their footing, making these great offensive is unfortunate kickoff right there for the second goal, but Southern Miss picks up the pace and ends up taking this game 3-0.
Oh man.
Great work from Southern Miss once again, keeping themselves at least disciplined enough. We still saw a lot of mistakes there that could be corrected, but Southern Miss still looking solid enough. They are going to now play Ole Miss in a Battle of Mississippi, if my sources are correct. Here for about a month, so I'm still learning. But Battle for Mississippi between the two. We'll see what Ole Miss is able to do. They were ranked, I believe, 11th in that poll. Sorry, 12th. 11th was Redbird. They were ranked 12th in that poll, so very solid team. Winner goes on to, I'd assume, play Northwood. It's not confirmed, I don't think right now, but Northwood is pretty far into that series with UTK. So they should be wrapping things up at least here kind of soonish, which doesn't really matter because I mean, we still got another series to play anyways. Yeah. On the other side of things, though, let's take a look at the rest of the bracket. We have Ball State taking on Mizzou for a spot against the winner of Illinois State and BPC. So a lot of these top teams now getting into their winners quarterfinal matchups, pretty much as you would expect. All of these results are, from what I can see, basically expected. Ball State should beat Mizzou, and Illinois State will be, should beat BPC and send them down to the losers bracket. That Ball State Illinois State game should be a really good one too, but it's not the side of the bracket that we are on here at Southern Miss. That will be the teams of Northwood, UTK, and Ole Miss. Game has just been reported now as a 2-0 for Southern Miss. So now heading into the Ole Miss series, we'll have to see this Ole Miss squad. I remember we looked at them earlier, but I don't really recognize any of the players.
No, not really. I think only one of them has like any bubble pro experience, played on, I think it was Speed, if I remember.
I don't know off the top of my head, unfortunately.
They can compete. We know that. They have a bunch of winnings. They've played against the same level of pros that we see in RLCS, kind of in the majors and everything. But this is a team that can compete with Southern Miss. Southern Miss obviously having these same level of pros that we are seeing on teams like Northwood, Ole Miss, Boise State, Maryville. So it should be an interesting matchup. It shouldn't be a 2-0 sweep like we've been seeing.
I want to put it out there. The loser of this game is going to have a very, very long wait. You're going to be waiting for about 5 matches to finish. So you certainly want to win this one and continue playing in not only in the winners bracket, but just continue playing it all, because if you lose, it's probably going to be about an hour and a half break.
Seems that Southern Miss is already taking this very seriously, pulling out these bumps plays, but Ole Miss is going to have that quick offensive play, bumping Melodic off the ball, but Zaf has the control, going to take it slow as he is very low boost. Fakes out Stealth. Melodic tried to take a low 50 on Stealth. Astro able to hit it off the wall. Melodic gonna try and read this, misread, and it looks as a bump off of Zaf. Astro able to get there. Melodic sending it back down. Astro, save. Oh my gosh.
And keep it out. Lunar had a free goal, but had no boost, so couldn't capitalize off the ball hitting in the back wall. And now Southern Miss have another opportunity, and it all comes off the back of that play from Astro. Just barely making that save. Lunar again not going to be able to make shot out of that pass, and that is not ideal if you are Ole Miss. You've had 2 opportunities to score, and both of them have essentially been squandered.
Yeah, I mean, Astro being the defensive backbone of Southern Miss right now. What a crazy goal line save. You don't see that every day at all. Barely making that. It looks a 1v1 from Zaf. Stealth ends up coming in to save that ball. Bumped off by Zaf, or by Astro. Lunar's going to try and take a quick little air dribble. Stealth makes a redirect. Up by Astro. Astro is going to take this slow as C-Money has yet to challenge, taking a low 50. Melodic with no boost to work with, also just going to try and take a low 50. Manages to beat Stealth. Astro up, almost there to beat C-Money. Melodic gonna try and do something with the ball. Ends up going to an Ole Miss player. Lunar jumping. Goes for the double tap, almost gets there, blocked off by Melodic. Ole Miss on this quick offensive. Is that just an unlucky?
That is.
Oh my gosh.
That is huge for Southern Miss. A very unlucky 50 there from C-Money, and not even a 50. And that's still that's considered an own goal, I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
I mean, technically Astro gets a touch there, and it was also assisted by Melodic, but you could see the streak on the ball was orange. So Ole Miss technically getting an own goal there. Not what you want to see, especially in a matchup like this where you might not see many goals scored, as Astro again on the defensive side of things. Melodic now trying to get that clear out to the midfield. Demo comes in for Lunar. Now Zaf has to be careful. Looks for the Psycho. Actually, no. Going to send it out to the right side of the wall. Stealth not able to get much going. C-Money now has positioning, has the boost to make a play, does end up using all of it. Stealth also not able to get much there, but Lunar again in position, has an opportunity, will get sent to C Money. Stealth not there either. USM now back on the attack.
Yeah, I mean, Melodic playing this beautiful offensive play. Tries to get it under Lunar, goes straight to Astro. Zath jumping off of that bump. Melodic backflipping. Stealth has an open net, saved by Astro, who had just respawned. Zath's just gonna try and hit it out, take any touches he can. Astro's gonna beat Stealth there. Lunar gonna take this up the left wall. Melodic got early challenge. Zath, the only one with boost on this defensive attack. Astro hitting it over one. Melodic straight. It's going to be a double. Lunar ends up getting the touch out. Stealth, but Melodic is back. Going to take that touch over to Astro. Astro going to try and control this as much as he can. 50s with Lunar. Zath up. Now, it seems as if Southern Miss is playing a beautiful offensive and defensive pressure here, as both teams are, which a little bit of a really lucky goal there from Astro a little bit earlier. It's been a pretty even game so far.
Yeah, and this is exactly what we wanted to see. We wanted to see a team challenge Southern Miss, similar to how we saw Illinois State challenge them, similar to how we saw Boise challenge them. Ole Miss not backing down either. And really, the only goal that was scored is not much of their fault. It's just the unlucky draw that they got on that top 50, and now you're going to see C Money sending it out to Lunar. Shot once again blocked. Astro has maybe his 6th save of the game, as it will be Zath trying to get something. Didn't have the boost, so leaves it for Melodic. Melodic sending it downfield, just has one to beat, but no boost. Southern Miss again controlling the midfield. C Money in perfect position, steals that back right boost of Southern Miss, but it's a whiff. A deadly whiff for Ole Miss. Can they recover from it? Stealth has the only real opportunity here for Ole Miss, and that might not be it. Lunar now sending it down to C Money, not really having a great touch on the ball. Only 1 second left, has to just hit the ground. Southern Miss taking game number 1.
Wow, I mean, beautiful plays from both teams. Not really anything amazing wise on either end. Not a lot of shots taken. A ton of shots taken by Ole Miss. Southern Miss only with 3 total shots, which is interesting. Ole Miss definitely has that offensive pressure, as we saw, but unable to capitalize as Astro's amazing defense the play. We'll see how Southern Miss does this game. We are up 1-0. They're going to have to keep the momentum of last game. A really lucky, I'll say it, lucky goal.
It was. There's not much you can do about it. And I do see Melodic. I saw Melodic left the. I figured he was changing back to a Fennec, and that's exactly what he's done. So maybe a bit of experimenting with the Octane against the teams that they may have felt a lot more comfortable against. But now that they're playing a team that's a bit closer to where they are, or I shouldn't say a bit closer, that is the same, basically same level as what they are. Just going back into that, the comfortability. And look at that first shot from Ole Miss. They want to find an opening here early. Not able to do so just yet. Stealth does at least get that 50. Lunar not going to be able to get there. Now Astro down to Melodic. The pass will get intercepted. C Money not able to do much though. Gets blocked. Melodic though not able to do much there. Another 50 is Ole Miss putting the pressure on early and getting a goal very early as well.
Yeah, I mean, it was expected that he was going to shoot right. Astro 0 boost on that defense, which Melodic tried to get in there just to, either demo him or make that save himself due to Astro having no boost. Unfortunately, Stealth was able to get there fast enough, and Southern Miss is going to be looking for another goal, which so far the offensive pressure has been really good. No real third man that they can see. Zath is going to take control here, just try and get a good air dribble, maybe looking for a bump. Can't quite get it. C Money there to intercept, and Astro going to play this backboard defense that he always plays. Tries to get it over Stealth, which Melodic just gives it a hit to Lunar. And looks like Southern Miss on this offensive pressure. Stealth able to get that. Astro unable to get any bumps or demos. Interesting little flip there from Melodic. Astro going in for that 50 on Lunar. Lunar gonna try and hit it past Zath, which he does. Ends up getting a nice bump on Melodic, but Melodic able to get that other touch. Lunar taking another touch, trying to pass it to any one of his teammates that can get there. Now Southern Miss very low on boost. Melodic just picked up 100 pad. Astro just picked up another. Can Zath get the double? Not quite. Lunar ends up hitting it out. Astro gonna try and pass it middle, straight to Lunar. Melodic with an unfortunate backflip down to C-Money. Almost top right corner, and it looks like Southern Miss is about to have a counterattack. Melodic going off the ball since he didn't have any boost. Astro just trying to get this ball out of their defense, and it seems as if Old Miss has had most of the control this game.
They look completely different from what we saw last game, and the ball control has just been basically completely flipped into Ole Miss's favor. Not that Southern Miss had a lot of possession last game, but they were still at least relatively close to a 50-50. It just felt like 60-40 in favor of Ole Miss. This is a double, but no boost for Stealth. So Stealth can't make the play. Still going to be a 1-0 ball game, and that may come back to haunt them later if they end up falling here in game number 2.
Yeah, I mean, Southern Miss with an unfortunate double commit, which has been a real problem for them in these early games, and especially against a team of Ole Miss of this size. Can't make that. And what a slot from Zath as I say that. Zath taking that offensive pressure, tying up this game. This could be 2-0 Southern Miss. It's looking really good now. They're going to take this momentum in. I mean, beautiful play from Zath, catching up to that ball for an easy left net.
Yeah, exactly what Southern Miss needed right there in that spot. It'll be Lunar, though, taking the first touch, first possession. Does get the ground pinch, doesn't get the dunk, but Lunar will still be able to sit here on the ball. C-Money just being annoying in the mid, at least in front of the Southern Miss net. Stealth now also given the opportunity to send it out on a pinch, but not what C-Money would have wanted in that case there. Now it's straight down, waterfalls, but won't be quite the river that Southern Miss wanted. C-Money again has to sit here as the third man. Does have a chance for a dribble, has the boost. Melodic off the ceiling though, great read from him. Keeps it away from C-Money. Lunar now the next man up for Ole Miss. Contest from Zath. Can Astro get there? No. Here comes a shot. Not going to connect. Melodic can send that one away out to the wall.
Man, I mean, that was almost a beautiful shot there from, I'm pretty sure that was Lunar. The ceiling manages to get there almost. Melodic had no idea what was happening in that moment. Almost a goal. No one was back in net for that. Melodic assumed that he was going to miss and he'd take the ball up and maybe make a shot, but it seems as if Zath has jumped, went for the redirect play, ended up bumping Lunar. The ball off the backboard. No one can quite get there. Astro back with 100 boost and ends up stalling enough time for his team to come back. Melodic is gonna go for this, trying to hit it away from Lunar, which is a pass to Zath. Zath beating C-Money. Astro trying to go for that hit, passed out. Lunar a little bit of a whiff there, but still ends up taking possession for Southern Miss, or for Ole Miss. C-Money gonna take a quick shot, saved by Zath. Zath jumping again for the redirect. Astro gonna take control of this ball over.
Wait, they want this in regulation.
Oh my gosh. Southern Miss almost ended it right there. Ole Miss playing that beautiful defense, and it's going to be an overtime.
Was barely, maybe a couple inches away from a 2-0 for Southern Miss, and we've seen Ole Miss in a very similar spot, about an inch or two away from taking a game, but it's going to be Zath now putting the pressure on. Melodic next man up, doesn't have a lot of boost, but straight to
oh my gosh.
Southern Miss gonna take down Ole Miss. Will be into the winner's semifinal against what should be Northwood, but they are in a heater with UTK.
That is an upset. That was number 12, and Southern Miss is number 20 based off of the rankings. And oh my gosh, what a game. Beautiful plays by the boys. We saw those passing plays come out, and they played it really well. And as we said, they did pick up right where they needed to. I mean, playing beautifully. They did have double commits. Ole Miss unable to capitalize on those double commits. And Southern Miss takes this game 2-0 against Ole Miss.
And now we will have to await the winner of Northwood Blue and UTK. Show it to you, but you literally cannot see the screen from here. They have been playing a best of 3 for 27 minutes. That is, I mean, if that's not game 3, then there's something going on. One team must have scored like 15 goals in a single game if it's going on for 27 minutes and it's a 2-0. We'll have to find out when that gets reported. So there's a little bit of time until we officially see who Southern Miss will play. Ole Miss will head down to the losers bracket. On the other side, the winner of Southern Miss and Northwood/UTK will play the winner of Ball State and Illinois State, which those are both expected results. Illinois State going up 2-0 or taking a 2-0 over Bruton Parker, which is BPC, and Ball State also taking a 2-0, that one over Mizzou. So very interesting bracket shaping up here. Pretty much every result is expected. The main one that isn't is what you're seeing here. And was Southern Miss 2-0 over Ole Miss.
Yes, the projected results was Ole Miss was going to win and go on to lose to Northwood, but we're seeing a bit of waver in this, projected bracket as Southern Miss does take a 2-0 win over Ole Miss, and it wasn't just a complete wipe like 2-0 you would think. Very close games from both teams.
It was what, 1-0 game 1 and then 2-1 game 2. So just one goal each game separating the two. And that was probably 1-2 minute overtime as well in game 2. Very, very close series. But now Southern Miss has the benefit of getting to that winner's semifinal. Now, if they happen to lose that next game, it's going to be a while. They're going to be sitting for a very solid amount of time. So certainly not one you want to lose. But if they do, that will put them into the losers quarterfinal, which is technically set to take place at 2:40 p.m. But the current round is also supposed to take place at 1:20 p.m. and it's 1:50. So there are still teams in losers round 4, which is really early in the bracket. So there's going to be someone that's sitting for way longer than they should.
Yeah, I mean, but beautiful plays by the boys. Astro, I mean,
phenomenal defensive plays. Very, very strong defensive plays. There's a multitude of times where we saw Astro basically be the single line of defense and make it work. Essentially the secretary of defense at that point.
And then Melodic and Zaf's offensive plays, I mean, we can't count down. They did have these amazing passing plays on the offense that allowed them to score these goals. I mean, in that first game, Astro just made an amazing hit off of one of Ole Miss's players straight into their net.
And we talk a lot about the potential of this roster, and we haven't seen a whole lot potential be realized by Southern Miss. Right now, they have given themselves a perfect opportunity to show that potential, to continue on through this bracket and maybe even find their way into day 2, which would just be unbelievable, especially considering who's in this bracket. Now, they will be probably facing Northwood next. It's still going. It's 30 minutes long. My thought is there's also the possibility they just didn't report it and they just forgot. That happens sometimes. But there's also a very good chance that this is a 30-minute banger of a series. So guess what we're gonna do? I want to go to a break, I guess, just because, but we're only gonna go to a break for like 3 minutes because there's no way it should take much longer than that. So we will head to a break for a couple minutes and then we will be back on the other side when we have the winner of Northwood and UTK taking on Southern Miss in the winner's semifinal. Well, there is some breaking news that is, to be honest.
Yeah.
Northwood Blue down to the losers bracket. See Knoxville done the unthinkable, caught the upset, sent Hockey, Creams, and Zanil down to the lower bracket. They're going to be waiting for probably an hour or two until their next match. So there's going to be a long time to think about what has just occurred. We didn't get to see it, unfortunately, because we were casting the Southern Miss Ole Miss series. But Southern Miss has a good opportunity here to, at minimum, get a point out of today. They do that by winning this game. They get at least a point. They get a point. Now, if they win this game, we will have our first CRL best of 5 for us, which is great. I see best of 5s. They would play the winner of Ball State, Illinois State, which started about 10 minutes ago. So that series will likely wrap up before we wrap up things here. Just now waiting for UTK to ready on up, get into the lobby. And I don't recognize any of the players, but I'm also not like hyper into the Rocket League amateur scene. So like maybe they're players that we just don't know about a lot. So we'll have to see what goes down between those players or what happens here in this series. But I don't know what to expect now, especially knowing that Northwood is down in that losers bracket. It's literally just on any given Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, UTK wasn't a team that we've really been looking out for. And the fact that they took out Northwood Blue with the insanely stacked roster that Northwood has shows that this team can compete. And this is going to be a test on Southern Miss to see, how far have we come? I mean, we just beat Ole Miss. This team beat Northwood.
So I wanted to check something, and unfortunately, my preconception was wrong. I thought Alabama still losing, and they are not. They're up by a single point. But if Alabama can lose to South Carolina, can lose to Vanderbilt, then Northwood can lose to anybody on any given Saturday, apparently. So if Alabama loses this game, then I'm just assuming that that's why Northwood lost, because win on Sunday last week, and Alabama lost to Vanderbilt 2 weeks. I think it was a week before that anyways, but like still. So there is some mythos magic going on that I'm very unaware of, but we just need to await the rest of the UTK players to be ready and in the game. They're taking their time here to make sure that they're ready. I can imagine there's probably a little bit of handshaking and stuff like that, especially after winning a game of that quality.
Yeah, I mean, I was screaming, banging on the desk. I'm sure y'all heard it. It was such a hype game, especially seeing the level of play that was just had. I think that was one of the closest games I've ever seen sitting here
I'll be right back.
casting the Southern Miss team.
You guys have to join party now.
So should be interesting. I'm excited to see what these Southern Miss players have. It looks like we are about to get into this match, Southern Miss versus UTK. And it seems as if we're about to get started.
We have one of two winner semifinals, UTK Southern Miss, and you're going to see Joe Bro, Taibu, and Shaka from the side of UTK. Melodic, though, first up for Southern Miss. Now, Zaf, look at the pacing on this team. They look completely different than what we've seen, not only in previous weeks, but honestly from earlier today. They look way different, as now Melodic going to get her bump. That is a great play from Tennessee, but won't ultimately lead to a whole lot, maybe a little bit of pressure, but Jorbo trying to contest currently has 0 boost.
Yeah, Southern Miss playing this offensive pressure really well. As you saw, they took a couple quick shots off, and it looks like, it's an early goal for UTK, a slot down by Shaka. What happened? Did not expect the flip reset, and Zath unable to get up quick enough. Melodic not back to make that save. 1-0 UTK.
Great stuff from Tennessee there, and honestly, just 2 or 3 full misplays from Southern Miss is what's gonna lead to that. That would have been a shot on target if Astro got the second touch. It will be contested from UTK. And this is what I talked about earlier with contesting the ball. You're going to see these higher level teams do exactly that. And basically no one will get a free shot. Although that is a missile. Torpedo into the back. UTK miles per hour. Melodic all the way down to Astro. And you are going to see a Rocket League ball go straight into the back of that net. I had to make the joke. Get many opportunities to do that one.
Southern Miss responding to UTK's early goal. They want this as much as anybody. I mean, UTK took out Northwood, and Southern Miss wants to take out UTK. This would be such an upset match. Zaf going down for that air dribble bump. Melodic just trying to take a little bump there. Gets it away from Astro. Unfortunate touch, but Melodic still on this offensive pressure. Ibu gonna hit it up in the air to Zaf. Melodic almost had that little bit of redirect play right there. Astro couldn't quite get down for it. Melodic gonna touch out to Zaf. It's just an open net.
The offense from Southern Miss, like a well-oiled machine right now. That second touch from Melodic, by the way, is beautiful. It's the exact play that opens up the lane for a wide open net. The only player that was in net was another Southern Miss player. No one from UTK was in position to save that, solely based off that second touch from Melodic.
And I mean, you have got to capitalize on those open net plays, which is exactly what Southern Miss did. I, for a second there, thought Astor was going to say, is that just another open?
Should have been another goal for Southern Miss, but now they're going to have to go for a back and regroup to figure things out, as it will be one on top of the ceiling there. Taibu sending it across. Melodic now, the one going for the dribble, does get the reset. Zath sends it ahead. Melodic now back downfield. Backboard, who's there? Taibu will send it back the other way. Just for a little bit, though, you can see Southern Miss continuing to ramp up the pressure. Melodic goes for another shot. Taibu is once again there.
Oh my gosh, that's just another one for Southern Miss. Zaf, 0 boost. Astro also 0. Just gets a touch up on the backboard, and Zaf just slots it. Top bins. 3-1. Southern Miss. It's looking like Southern Miss's game right now, but you never know. Anything can happen. A little bit of a double commit right there for UTK. Melodic gets a demo on one. Zaf with a flip reset goal, top right.
Second I saw that demo, I knew it was going to be a goal. Zath, all the space in the world. Melodic still lurking too, just to be present. Zath also, even if that player gets near the ball, it's guaranteed bump from Zath. So no matter what, that thing was hitting the back of the net. Southern Miss on a tear, but Shaka should have a goal and does. So UTK not out of it just yet. Still 2:16 on the clock. If you're Southern Miss, you still need to make sure you're staying locked in. The Vols aren't going to go away that easily.
Yeah, Melodic, a little bit of a misread on that little 50 kickoff right there, which caused Shaka to get a goal. It's just a little unfortunate stepping stone in the way of Southern Miss. A double commit right there from Melodic. Astro gonna take it to the wall, get a 50 off, manages to beat Shaka to the ball. Zath is going double tap down to Astro. Oh my god.
Southern Miss just look like a different beast right now. A phenomenal play from Astro. It's the reason that Zath even gets the chance to have a touch there. He's bumped and still manages to send it straight into position for Zath. Gets it off the backboard and capitalize for Melodic. And that will be another save too for Southern Miss if it wasn't enough to have 5 goals in game number 1.
Yeah, I mean, so far it is looking like Southern Miss's series right now, as they do have 5 goals, as you just said. And still a little bit of an open net play, gonna bounce up, but Jobro there to score that goal, set it in. 5-3 UTK. They could potentially come back here.
UTK doing just enough to stay in this game, but if you look at the clock, it's going to be against them for this moment, and they need to find a second goal right here, right now. They're going to need something very, very quick if they want to continue to keep themselves alive here. Taibu has at least poked away possession. Astro, though, just looking to waste time. Will send that down to Melodic. If you're UTK, you need to find a way to get going here, especially in the best of 3. You don't have that best of 5 cushion, as Astro going to continue to hold possession, doing a great job of just buying time, wasting time as well. I mean, Zath now has a chance to shoot. Will take it. Not going to go. It's Joe Bro on the save. And with just a minute remaining, it's looking like this should be Southern Miss in taking game number 1, and great momentum heading into the rest of the series. I mean, they have just suffocated UTK. Honestly, their goals have just come off of too aggressively, and their pressure just being way too high at certain points. But even then, they're still winning for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, as you can see, all of UTK's goals have come off of, as you just said, that high amount of pressure that Southern Miss is putting. They really haven't had a third man to really bend back on like usual. Is playing more of a defensive role this game, which I'm pretty sure it'll show in the stats. He has 1 to 2 goals, almost another shot off there by Melodic. Southern Miss, as you said, suffocating UTK. They have 0 boost, barely. Shaka and Taibu both just picked up a 100 pad. A double commit there, both missing. A bit of a miss call. Southern Miss unable to capitalize, was going in, but that's going to be game for Southern Mississippi 5-3.
That's not Northwood Blue, by the way. Just ignore the names. I believe UTK was the one who set up the lobby, so they just obviously rolled with it. Going series after series, you don't have time to change that kind of stuff. But either way, a very strong showing from Southern Miss there right off the rip too. And I do want to mention, it is Ball State who 2-0'd Illinois State. So the winner of this series will go on to a best of 5 against Ball State for a spot to qualify for Sunday in a best of 5 through the winner's bracket. But of course, we still need to get through the rest of this one, which could be a 2-0 if Southern Miss has another game like they just played. It's all theirs. It's all theirs for the taking.
Yeah, and it's looking really good right now for Southern Miss. Taking that game 5-3. It seems as if we're gonna try and do a little bit of a lobby reset here.
Yeah, Melodic, the only player still there. We do need to leave the game as well from the spectators, so we will make sure we do that too to get that full reset. But
probably just changing up the names.
Yeah, we're remaking the lobby. Ping might be a factor too. I didn't really get a chance to see it properly, but we'll make sure the lobby's remade and it's, functional. That's usually preferred if you're a competitor here in Rocket League. But Ball State taking a 2 over Illinois State, I want to say expected, but I kind of expected that game to go to 3. But at the same time, we've been seeing some unique results today. I want to take a look at the lower bracket while we have the time to discuss it. So they're only in losers round 5. There's a couple teams in losers round 6, but whoever loses this game is going to be sitting. And even the next game, whoever's going to be losing, whoever's going to be sitting or loses the next game is going to be sitting for hours upon hours, to be honest. I mean, I say that and it's probably only going to be like an hour, but at the same time, I mean, there are, I think, 5 or 6 straight rounds that still need to be played before that time. So you want to certainly make it through that winner's bracket. You don't want to waste half of your day just sitting there waiting for an opponent.
Yeah, because you're not playing, you're not in that competitive play for an hour, and an hour may not seem like a long time, but Rocket League players, if you're not playing like in a true like competitive mindset for that hour, you never know how bad that can throw you off. It's just, it's going to be interesting, Hopefully Southern Miss can take off the win here, which is looking promising, and take the win off of Ball State, which we've seen them upset some teams. So they should be able to.
So something I want to mention is that the series against Northwood, UTK actually lost game 1. They managed to win game 2 and game 3. So we could be seeing something similar here. I don't know what the break was even called for. I mean, there's a chance too, because that Northwood series took 30 minutes, which even a best of 3 shouldn't take 30 minutes. We've seen best of 3s only takes like 20 at max. And so I'm wondering if something similar happening here, where like their equipment is just not cooperating or something. I'm very confused on what this break would even be called for, because they played the full game, but it looks like I do see the UTK players joining back in. So just some weird stuff going down, but that's not on anything on UTK. I know I'm dealing with equipment issues for the past like 2 months. It's annoying. So I completely get it. I don't know what it was, but regardless, I do see them joining back in. So we hopefully can get back into game 2 and get back into the series here relatively soon.
Yep, and it should be fun. We'll see if UTK can make this reverse sweep technically again, as they did against Northwood Blue, but Southern Miss is gonna take it home again. They have the momentum from the first game, and I think they're going to take that into the second game. We just have to make sure, or they have to make sure, that they're not overcommitting on these simple shots that really, as long as they have that simple rotation that we've seen them keep, it should be good.
You see the joining thing like icon on the top of the screen, but it's not actually joining the game. So I don't know why that's happening. I mean, I've seen it happen in like ranked, but not for a private match. So there could be a large set of issues that are causing problems right now that are very far out of our control. I mean, that would be a Psyonix issue, not really an us issue.
Yeah, it's a server issue, which is normal if you play Rocket League. It's pretty normal, you know, like 1 out of every 10 games, you'll have a server just completely die and everyone's on 110 ping constantly. So it should be getting solved. Still joining, which even for a ranked game really doesn't happen. Like,
I went to check the server status. I mean, there's not really. I don't know if they have an official one. And I don't think they do. But I'm just trying to see around. Maybe there's a server problem, or maybe UTK's players are just like struggling to connect. I'm not really sure, because as far as I can tell, there's server-wise, there's nothing wrong. So there's a chance that the lobby even itself was broken. I know in Call of Duty that's a big problem, where you have to like remake the entire lobby, get everyone out, get everyone back in. So hopefully these server problems are solved relatively quickly, because we want to see the rest of the series, and Ball State is still waiting for someone to win this game.
yes, and be waiting for a while, maybe only. But either way, they will get to play eventually. And it seems as if we are, in fact, joining the match right now, going on to game 2. They still did not change.
They didn't change the name, but I'd imagine the focus was like making sure they can even join the game to begin with. So that was probably the main focus there. But we are into game number 2. Southern Miss with a 1-0 lead, looking to shut down UTK after their upset of Northwood. But for now, we still have a lot of time left, both here in game 2, and if it ends up going the distance, then we have that game 3 to pair.
Zath gonna take a quick shot off there. Taibu making that redirect straight to Astro. Melodic trying to get up for it, not able to. Zath not able to get there. Jobro able to take a quick shot, just bouncing off that right post. What a beautiful turn by Jobro. It seems as if Melodic made a little bit of a miss jump there, accidentally pressing jump down instead of jumping up. Unfortunate plays. Zath gonna try and go for a quick 50 kickoff there. Melodic beating one. Astro should have the open if he can beat him. Not quite. Zath gonna take the hit up. Now it's looking like a very strong start from UTK. Southern Miss is gonna have to change their rotation style a little bit. But Melodic gonna try and take the hit up. Astro tries cutting. Zath has a little bit of time here. Tries hitting it to Melodic, unable to get there. Jobro takes the ball off. Astro's gonna try and take a hit up to Melodic, blocked by Shaka. Zath up, and that's almost just down into the goal. Taibu tried, anything that he could, and Taibu low boost, unable to get to the ball fast enough. Shaka's gonna have an easy little air dribble, but just bangs it up to Taibu. Does he have the touch? He does not. Saved by Astro. Melodic's gonna pass it straight up to Astro. Astro unable to get there. Taibu beating Zath, gonna take another touch down, trying to hit it to anyone. Southern Miss, all three of their players missing that ball. Zath hits it right to Jobro, who hits it to Melodic. Shaka trying to hit it down to Jobro, who hits it to Taibu. Taibu going for a little bit of a dribble play, blocked off by Zath. Zath faking it out for Melodic, who's going to try and just put this in front of net. Astro top left slot, tying the game 1-1.
So something I'm noticing here from USM, they look a little bit slower than what we saw in game one. Melodic, though, getting the bump onto Taibu. That's really what opens up the lane there for Astro to take that top left corner and rip the ball into the back of the net. Still 3 minutes on the clock. We are once again at a tied scoreboard as Southern Miss will look to put more offensive pressure on. I would like to see them get more control, handle the possessions a little bit better. They're kind of giving the ball away at the moment. They're looking for a lot of passes that aren't open or that aren't there at all. And we know how individually talented a lot of these USM players are. So realistically, they need to be finding ways to get better control of the ball, have more control possessions. Like right there, I mean, Astro contesting getting a 50, but you're going to need to see someone like Melodic at least do something here. Gets 2 touches. Now Zath back to Astro off the backboard. Taibu there to save once more, but now Southern Miss starting to put a little more pressure on. We saw this is how they got their goal earlier in this game, and that's exactly what got them a bunch of goals in the last one. Shaka is here, but with no boost, and actually could have almost been a shot there by Melodic. Didn't have a great angle for it, as Astro should be carrying this one out. Looks like he does get there for just a second. There's time dwindling down in game number 2, sorry, but with just 150 on the clock, it's very much becoming a stalemate.
Yeah, I mean, Southern Miss drowning out UTK on the boost side of things right now, as we've seen Shaka been with 0 boost, just trying to take as many hits as he can. Ends up getting a touch out, unable to get a shot, and Shaka's going to take another touch, trying to get any shot he can. Almost a shot right on net, saved off by Zath. Zath going to hit it to Melodic. Melodic keeping control, trying to bump off Jobro. Astro gonna go for a little side wall redirect right up to Shaka. Shaka gonna hit it and 50 with Melodic. Astro 50ing it. Taibu takes a quick shot over. Not UTK unable to make any plays. Taibu trying to hit off Melodic. Zath to I don't even know what's happening.
Great passing play there. Melodic sending it across the field. Knew Zath was right there. No boost for Zath, but it doesn't even matter. Had the wide open space, slots it between 2, and Southern Miss taking a powerful lead, 2-1, 57 left, and now it is becoming crunch time. If you are UTK, a huge bump, gonna lead that to Taibu, gets the save. Now looking to go coast to coast, but it won't be the full way across. You're only getting to the Midwest if you're Taibu there. Now trying to send it back out is Shaka. Southern Miss, as long as they keep holding possession, they can continue holding the ball, forcing the defense out from UTK. It will be another for Astro. It's going to be his world once more. 35 seconds to go, and that might just be the game right then and there.
I mean, wow. I'm sorry if I stumble over my words. It's just these guys are making such good plays that we know they can make. And at the time where they need to pull these plays out, this is exactly where they pull them out. Just drowning the defense. Not even drowning, making the defense crave boost, unable to get there, and Jobro just gonna try and hit out. Interesting play there by UTK, trying to find anything they can. Melodic air dribbled over Jobro. Astro gonna do a little bit of a dry challenge there. Taibu trying to find anything. UTK throwing themselves at the ball, trying to hit it down. Jobo, no boost to do anything with this ball, has one touch, but that's about it. Melodic also 0 boost, but still on the ball, gonna try and take a high flick there right into net.
And it won't count, but regardless, that one doesn't matter, as it is a 3-1 victory for Southern Miss. Now they are in the winners final. They will be taking on Ball State. This is a qualifying round. We have a best of 5 ahead of us, and it's going to be a bang out for Ball State and Southern Miss here in this game. Now, the winner of this will, of course, qualify for Sunday. That's the ultimate goal. You want day 2, and now there's an opportunity for Southern Miss to make day 2 right here in this next series.
Yeah, and as we can see, they definitely have it in them to win, beating UTK, who ended up beating Northwood. And my goodness, they played beautifully. They were moving like a swift butterfly in the wind. Just beautiful. Now, obviously, they had cut-ups here and there, double commits, but overall, I think they played amazing.
Yeah, and this, I mean, confirms Southern Miss has gotten 1 point in CRL. So that means that they have a chance to qualify for playoffs. Now, of course, if you win, you get a lot more. I think that you get like 7 or 8 for making Sunday. That's probably way off, but I'd have to pull up the graphic that CRL posted that shows like all of the numbers for that. Yeah. But regardless, the winner of this game will qualify through winners, and the loser of this game will go to that losers final, get the second chance in another best of 5 to qualify for Sunday. So for both teams, you get the double qualifier spot, or you get a double chance to qualify for that next day of play. And I mean, the main thing you got to look out for is Northwood in that losers bracket.
No, 100%. And it'd be great for Southern Miss to just take it home here, end their day on a high note, go into Sunday looking bright.
Yeah, wait, by the way, we were not done until like 4 p.m. Last week. It is 2:30. So if they win this game, they will be done so much quicker than what they were last time.
Yes.
So that's another big benefit. You get to go home, be done early, and you get to play on Championship Sunday. And that's where names are made. I mean, we've been talking about potential for the past like 3 series. This is what the potential is for Southern Miss. They can take these teams, they can take these top teams in collegiate and compete right there with them. That has been why they were brought into this school. That's why they're here. We know that they can compete with the top of the top, the best of the best. And that's what we're seeing here right now. They are taking it to every team that they have faced. UTK down 2-0. In fact, let's talk about it. Southern Miss has not dropped the map today.
No, not at all. They have not dropped a single match, getting very close to dropping them, but ending up taking it, whether that be in overtime or whether that be like an amazing goal early on. And it's just Southern Miss has played out of their mind. Let's see if they can manage to not drop a single match at all today.
Yeah, I mean, if you would qual without dropping 1 game, that is something that is needing to be noted of. Now, considering USM did not play Northwood, some critics may say that it is a bit less impactful to qualify, and you would be right. You absolutely would. I cannot argue that not facing Hockey Zanil and Creams is worth noting. But at the same time, you are seeing how USM has adapted to these different teams. They're taking down an Ole Miss. They're taking down a UTK, all teams that are expected to be above them. Well, I don't know about UTK. I don't even know if they were ranked, to be honest. I don't think they were. So like I don't know where they came from. That UTK team was incredible though. I didn't even know they were that good, to be honest. Like, I'm not saying that I thought they were bad. I just didn't know they were that good either. They took it to not only Northwood by beating them in game 3. They took it to USM too. So
Yeah.
definitely a team to look out for in that lower bracket. But now we are just awaiting Ball State to be readied on up, check on in for your winners final. It would be so bad. It would suck so much to see a team just DQ in winners final. Do you know how much that would suck? I want to see a winners
Yeah,
final.
that would be awful, especially our first best of 3.
Best of 5.
Best of 5. But man, am I excited for this. My hands are sweating.
They're testing our stalling skills.
Yes.
They're probably in chat right now like, oh yeah, we want to see how long these guys can stall. That's what they're looking for.
Yeah, they're watching us right now. They're like, what are they saying about us? Let's see how long they can stall. And I'd just like to say my hands are sweaty, and the people that know me here know that I have to wear gloves because my hands sweat so much. But holy, my hands have never sweated this much. This is so invigorating, the way that this team is playing and how far they have come. I'm so excited.
So let's talk about the bracket for a little bit here, since we have a lot of time to do so, I guess. Northwood Blue is currently sitting in losers round 7 after they lost. That's where they got placed. The losers bracket's actually progressing pretty well at the moment. We are mainly in losers round 6. There's one game in round 5 that's still taking place. But Thomas College and LA Tech Blue, I am so sorry. The winner of that game will play Northwood, and I know both of those teams shouldn't stand a chance against them. I don't want to be mean, but like, those are two teams that are playing in this bracket. They're both making a very strong run for their schools. I mean, they're two teams that I know a little bit about, and one of them has to face Northwood, unfortunately. But Ole Miss will be waiting the winner of Daytona State College and Florida Southern / Houston. I'm assuming that is. It's University of Houston. I don't know if that's their main team or not. And then Davenport currently playing NAU Gold for a spot against Mizzou, and NAIT taking on St. Clair Academy for a spot against Bruton Parker. So a lot of heavy hitters down in that losers bracket. You have your 12th ranked team, your Mizzou, which is ranked, I just don't remember the number, Bruton Parker, which was 23rd, and then Northwood, obviously your number 1 overall in that ranking, now technically second to Maryville. But regardless, the fact that they're even in losers is just so stunning. That's why I brought it up 100 times, because it throws me off every time I see it.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see, we didn't get our Northwood versus Southern Miss match, but the fact that we beat the team that beat Northwood just shows us that we can compete.
So I like to bring up this chart. It's another college football thing, but they had like the Alabama logo, and then obviously Vanderbilt beat them, but then Vanderbilt's a really bad team, so like all the teams that beat them are like technically better than Alabama. So like technically Southern Miss is better than Northwood if you look at it. If you want to look at the circle chart with the weird like revolving door type thing, that they beat the team that beat Northwood. So if you want to go by that, you can. And basically saying like, I don't know what teams beat Vanderbilt, but basically everyone on their schedule. So like everyone on the schedule of Vanderbilt is just better than Alabama apparently. So which they actually almost lost to South Carolina. They didn't. Sad day, but whatever. As now we have the game ready to go. Players are joining the lobby. Southern Miss, Ball State, winners final, by the way, best of 5 ahead of us. The winner of this game makes it to Sunday, gets all those delicious, scrumptious CRL points that send you into the playoffs. And on the other side, you have Ball State, of course, looking to make it into there. I believe they were in last week, so want to make that back-to-back weeks where they make the playoff. Southern Miss looking to make it after last week falling in the losers quarterfinal.
Yeah, and it seems as if
Losers semifinal.
losers semifinal. It seems
One of the
as if the game's about to start. A little bit of a misplay there. Melodic gonna take the touch on this ball, go for it again, beating Wova to that ball. Zath gonna take it up, try and get a 50 on Guh, manages to get a 50, gets a 50 50 on Oath 2. Is he going to stay with the ball? Ends up backing off for Astro, who takes a little bit of a low 50. Wova right down to Melodic. Melodic going to take a touch. Can he get the double?
Yes, he can. It's Melodic. He's going to hit that every day of the week. The second I saw he had all that space, you know what's going to come down. Melodic is one of the best players in collegiate when it comes to hitting a double tap from anywhere on that back wall. I've just seen it way too many times at this point. It's going to go in almost every single time.
Yeah, Melodic said, hey, team of 3, goodbye, and scored a double tap, making it 1-0 Southern Miss, 4 minutes and 30 seconds. A little bit of a double commit there from Ball State. Gonna take Zath, who spawned on the boost accordingly. Melodic gonna jump up again. Ball State taking a little bit of a separate approach, not just jumping right at him. Doesn't want that, or Melodic to make that double tap yet again. Astro gonna take another 50 right to Melodic, who's going to try and stay on this ball. Manages to, and an open net for Zap, misses. Another shot by Astro, unable to get in the game. And it seems as if Melodic is gonna try and go for another double tap, tries to get it under Oath, unable to. Zap is gonna pick up that boost, jump for this beat, ends up getting it almost right down into the Southern Miss's goal. And Southern Miss is playing a really good defensive and offensive heavy game right now. Ball State is gonna have to pick it up a little bit. We've seen a little bit of a double commits from both teams, but all in all, Oath is gonna pass it out to Guh, unable to take that touch. Southern Miss taking that defense.
And Southern Miss doing a great job of keeping possession. As I say that, they won't have the greatest ball presence right now, but Ball State trying to make a game of this. Not that it's not a game right now, but currently just 1-0. 3 minutes though, 2 minutes have gone by, and you're seeing Southern Miss again back on the attack. Demo in from Zath. That was a double commit though, so Astro has to be a bit careful here if he wants to find his teammates in the midfield, trying to create space. Wove though is there. Now Zath again on ball. Melodic not going to have a chance to go for this. So Ball State having an opportunity, not going to get anything out of it just yet. They're going to have to continue sending this one to that back wall. Zath now will be the one looking to go coast to coast. Gets it over one, looks for the bump, doesn't get it. Guh will just narrowly avoid it. And so far, Ball State playing some solid defense. Of course, that double from Melodic is very hard to stop. So you'll see him now look for another one. Doesn't have the boost to make it happen. It'll now be Zath sending it back down to Melodic. Might try to give his team a chance here. Astro with a 50. Great work so far from Southern Miss, though. They are doing a great job of controlling the ball and controlling the midfield.
Yeah, Ball State unable to get these critical touches on Oath. A little bit of a miss hit right there. Goes for the ball. Astro up, hitting an off wall, looking for that redirect play, but ends up just hitting it to Zath. Melodic almost getting bumped, manages to dodge it. Wova going up, trying to get anything that he can, but just a little bit of a ping pong match right now from Southern Miss and Ball State. Could Ball State get the double here? Melodic can't read it. Guh takes off the ball and shoots it into the net.
Doesn't get much easier than that. If you are Guh, you just have to make sure that that player that's on the backboard misses the read. And the second that happens, you know you have the net wide open. Doesn't matter how much boost you have. You just have to make sure you're there in front of it. And that's exactly what they'll do. And a player of that quality should always be scoring that, or at least most of the time be scoring it, depending on how fast it's going. Because I know sometimes the ball will just missile down and you don't get a chance. But Melodic trying to carry this out. Southern Miss still in a good position here. A minute 13 left. Good touch from Melodic. Oath going to send it over to his teammates, though, as Astro pokes that one away. And now disadvantage if you are Ball State. You need to get back onto the defensive side. Zath is not going to get any bumps. Does get a 50. Melodic has no boost, so it will be possession for Ball State now. Just 50 on the clock. They're going to need to make a play, though, and they are struggling to get this out of their half. Finally do, but it's just a huge clear as Astro will simply make that one go right back into the other half. It's now a lot of boomer balls, as the pros would say, for this game. And when that happens, it's really not a whole lot to look at other than the ball moving downfield at exorbitant speeds.
Yeah, Southern Miss has taken so many shots on Ball State's net, but none of them have been able to hit. Both teams have suffocated each other in boost on the offensive attack. Looks like Southern Miss is gonna have almost an open net. I thought that would surely go in. Zath zero boost, just trying to take a touch. Melodic ended up picking up that boost. Astro almost a miss. Melodic there to recover that ball. Astro gonna try and take any touch that he can. Guh hitting it down to Zath, and it seems like we are going into overtime in this first game.
Exactly what I would expect in your winners final. That's just how it is. As now you're seeing Melodic get a basically dead ball with Guh. Now challenging Oath. Wova, though, shoots it. Not quite there. It is a little above net. To be fair, I don't know if that was meant to be a shot or simply just a big touch. Melodic gonna send it over to that blue half off the backboard. Is anyone there for Southern Miss? It doesn't bounce, so there's not really much of an opportunity to shoot. Wova does at least get a touch downfield. Guh takes the shot, but it will be blocked by Zath. Melodic out to Astro. Actually just going to continue carrying it himself. Now Astro will come through, looking for the teammates. Just going to send a bump onto Wova. Zath doesn't have the boost to get there. So far, Ball State doing a great job of contesting Southern Miss early.
Yeah, Astro playing that beautiful. Goes up for that one touch, knowing his teammates are behind him to pick it up whenever he goes for that bump play. And that's a beautiful bump play from Ball State right there. Guh, I'm pretty sure, taking out the competition, bumping Melodic right out of nets. Yep, and that's just an easy open for Wova. Ball State takes game one.
And after how that started, I thought there was a chance that Southern Miss would simply just kind of continue to roll forward as they have been. But Ball State doing a great job of stopping them, getting their own form of pressure early on, or I guess towards the middle of that game. We are going to see one player drop out of the lobby, just look to reset. That's going to be Wova. Either reset or just grab a different preset. Either or. Just have to wait for them to get back in the game. Now Oath will ready on up and we can get into game number 2. Although a very quick overtime there as well in game 1.
Which is usually what you see from overtimes. It's usually a really quick overtime or a really long overtime.
You never get that in between like a 3-4 minute. It's always just like it's either 10 minutes or a minute max. It feels like it's just never the other way and never anywhere else.
Yeah, which is very weird. It's just the way that the Rocket League games work, which is odd, but we will be getting into game number 2. Ball State up 1-0, best of 5. Southern Miss is going to have to take this game off if they want any chance of winning. So we'll see how it managed to works. We're not in spectator yet, but we had just gotten in. Guh taking a quick shot and an early goal for Ball State.
You got a nice angle of that too, actually.
Yeah, beautiful angle.
Guh gets bumped into the shot. Got very lucky there, to be fair. Smart bump. It's just unfortunate. It puts him right into position, and that's how it is sometimes. Ball State, though, taking a lead just 4 seconds into the game. Now Zath will have to look to respond. It'll be Wove, though, looking to contest. Melodic off wall. Now back over towards the midfield. Will he find anyone home? Kind of. It's going to be Astro. Now he's looking to send it down. That should be Zath, and it is. Now looking for the double. Has the opportunity, but took a little too much time as Oath had a lot of space to get back to that net.
And that looks like just an open, but no Southern Miss player able to get there to take that ball. Zath is just going to try and pepper on these shots. Southern Miss has played increasingly offensive, knowing they need a goal to tie this up. And it seems as if Guh is the only one back, and it's an open net, and Zath just slots it. I mean, a beautiful hit over by Astro, knowing he didn't need to score. He just needed to get it over that last defender, and Zath able to slot the ball. A bit of a lucky bounce off of the roof there, right down into the game. Into the goal, but we're getting, and it seems as if they have another. Southern Miss just takes a kickoff goal.
I mean, I look away for half a second and I just see a goal scored for Melodic and just a tough kickoff. If you're Ball State, you see a double commit there and they don't get control of the ball. And even if you don't get control of the ball, you at least just need to send it to the wall, give yourself some time to recover. And Ball State just not able to do that. Now, another shot attempt for Southern Miss. Melodic, though, will get met at the backboard. It will be sent right back there, though, as it hits again off backboard. Astro doesn't have the boost to make a quality shot, and Ball State will at least stay alive for the time being.
Yeah, but Southern Miss still trying to pepper on these shots. Ball State unable to make any quality shots as Southern Miss is saving every single shot on net. Trying to make anything happen, but Astro there to stop it. Astro gonna jump for this, trying to beat Oath, which he does manage to do. Gonna take a little bit of a touch there, right over one, almost down, straight into Zath's fingertips. Melodic gonna get it around Oath, who had 0 boost, and it's interesting to see Ball State really has barely any boost to work with here, and Southern Miss is gonna try and take advantage of that as Ball State is going to take quick shots on net, unable to get anywhere. Zath is gonna take this up, try and beating Ga, and it looks like he barely just could get it over Ga. Wova gonna take this ball, passing to Ga, unable to get anywhere. Astro is just gonna take it slow, let his team get boost, knowing he really didn't need to make that touch as Zath was back. Zath gonna go try and do something fancy here, gets the ball taken away by Wova. Astro going for it. Melodic misses all over the place right now. What a demo by Zath, but able to get back fast enough before Zath can get on that ball again. Melodic is gonna, or Astro is gonna take a touch off of the wall. Astro going for it. Southern Miss really hasn't made any good offensive plays, and as I say that, almost right there. Crazy from Southern Miss.
Yeah, and something we see in a lot of their victories is when Melodic is given a lot of space in the offensive side of the field, he is able to create so many plays by himself, whether it's himself shooting, whether it's setting up a pass for Zath or Astro, whether it's just even finding a way to hand the ball off to one of the two. Melodic is really the tip of the spear in the Southern Miss attack, and right now he's kind of been held. He did have a really solid double, though, and that's realistically what will get you game victories, especially right now when you're sitting with a 1-goal lead, but want to make that larger, as is the case with every single team on the planet. But Melodic will be the one again here on ball, has to leave it for Astro, now looking for bumps. That's another thing Melodic does very, very well. The second he doesn't have ball, he's just going to look for a bump, and that's what you need to be doing, especially if you are that first man. You need to find a way to open space for your team. That is pretty much your entire job, is to find a way to get your team into the back of the net, whether it's you scoring the goal or if it's one of your teammates. Astro in a bit of an awkward position, no boost, but does get back. Now Ball State has a real opportunity, especially with a demo onto Astro. Shot from Oath is going to go through. The squishy won't come in for Melodic, and now we have a tied up ball game once again, 53 on the clock.
Southern Miss being drowned. No boost for any of them. Zath just picked up that 100 pad from the back right corner, but couldn't quite get there. Melodic couldn't quite, as you said, couldn't get the squishy. Guz gonna take a quick shot here, blocked by Astro. Hopefully, Zath does get it over one. And Melodic, a little bit of a misplay. Does Oath get the double? And he cannot. Wova gonna take it out. You cannot miss those doubles in this crucial of a game. Astro gonna take the 50 out, gonna just try and flip reset over one straight to Oath. It's sort of an open net, a little bit of an awkward play there. Melodic gets it over one, tries to get the dunk, but Oath hitting it right over. Astro gonna hit it down to Melodic. Melodic 0 boost, just trying to do anything to get the ball out. Zath backflips. Can Astro get back? And he cannot.
And that is a huge blunder for Southern Miss. You cannot be having that with the last few seconds of the game. They have an opportunity to get a kickoff goal. We've seen it happen, but of course, you're gonna know Ball State is very, very aware of what could be happening. What is the strategy for Southern Miss in this moment? moment. It looks like just let it go to Zath. Now down to Melodic and can't get the pass. That almost certainly could have been a goal there, but it looks like it will be game 2 going to Ball State. Now 1 away from qualifying for Sunday once again.
Man, oh my gosh, what do you even say? Such close matches. Southern Miss, just a small blunder at the end there. Zath backflipping, couldn't quite get up for that ball, but you know, they're gonna have to bounce back. The only option right now is to reverse sweep. That's it.
It's very easy to say. It is a very tough task to actually complete. Now, these games have been separated by just a single goal, both of them. So Southern Miss, very, very close. They're knocking on the door, and they've even taken advantages in both games, I'm pretty sure. So they have the right pieces. They just need to be able to finish out the game with that lead for them. And Zath somehow getting a save there, crossbar out of the net. Sometimes you'll see that go crossbar down in the net, but luckily for him, it's not going to be the case. Melodic now looking to just send this to the mid. Doesn't really have anyone there to make a major play. Y'all gonna dribble it around Astro, who had full boost. Bit of an overcommit, but at the same time, not a bad place for him to be. Just needs to get a touch there. Phenomenal play, especially with low boost.
My heart is racing for this game. Southern Miss has had so many great saves, but Ball State just able to slot in these balls and score. I mean, there's no other way to put it. They've done very well. Southern Miss is going to have to pick up this offensive pressure as Astros trying to go for a little bit of a flip reset air dribble play. Gets it around 1, and it's only 1 to beat. Doesn't end up beating Zath. Oath is going to take a little touch middle. Astro hits it up to Melodic. Oath tries to demo Melodic. Unable to, and Melodic slots it top right to tie up the game. Oh my gosh, Southern Miss responds. Wova 0 boost, unable to get it, and Melodic just barely slots it right past Go.
And that is the player you want to have the ball in any 1v1 scenario. Melodic. I've been saying it a lot today, but he's the reason that they can open up so much space. And there's a reason some of those goals go through, and it's simply just because of him. He has such a wide toolkit, such a dynamic set of skills, if you will, to find the back of the net in some ways that you would never ever expect it to be, especially in this level of collegiate. But regardless, you are going to still see a tied ball game, so an opportunity for both squads. And look at that shot straight down. Oath wanting to rip this series out of the hands of Southern Miss.
Oh my gosh, that reminds me so much of Justin's goal. That looked beautiful. It's beautiful goal right there from Ball State, managing to keep this game in their hands. 2-1 Southern Miss. Melodic takes a little bit of what looked like a purposeful miss. Astro gets the bump, but unable to get a really good touch on that. And Zath is just going to go up for the touchdown. I think that was blocked by Melodic. Astro couldn't quite slot that in, and a demo comes off from Melodic. Able to keep control of this ball, blocked off by by Zath. Melodic not able to do very much, gets the bump, but it seems as if a fake goes on right there. Astro able to hit it up. Melodic and Astro are both gonna jump for that, and Guz's just gonna be able to take control of this ball and push it forward.
And that ball is floating towards the Southern Miss net. It almost finds its way in, but Zath will be there for the defensive side. Now just trying to keep control, at least give his teammates some time to get back. Oath trying to pass it down, almost gets the bump. Gonna just take a shot. 2 players in net. That's gonna be a save. Melodic will be the one to get credit for it. Also saw a squishy save attempted, but not quite there. Doesn't matter. Now looking for the double. Won't get there. Oath was in the midfield, but didn't really get a good opportunity to take that pass and make it a possible shot. Now 50, and it's going to go back. Just right now sticking the ball into the corner. Both teams just having a little bit of a struggle to get much possession, to get any control really of the ball. Zath not going to be there. Leaves it for Astro. Woe, though, is there to contest. And so far, at least in this past minute or so, there's really not been much control from either side.
Yeah, and it looks like it's an open net for Ball State. An unfortunate bounce right there, but Wova's still able to slot it. Southern Mississippi defense nowhere in sight. Zath going for boost, Melodic going for boost. Astro unable to get the save as he is also 0 boost. It's looking like a Ball State win here. Southern Miss cannot get their footing on right now.
Yeah, Ball State is now starting to put their foot on the gas. They don't want to stop now. They don't want to start turtling and possibly give away goals that shouldn't be going through. Ga may just throw another one on. Not quite, though. Good touch, and I don't think that was on target anyways. It should have counted as a shot if it was, as Melodic does get the save for that one. But they're down by 2. They need a goal within the next couple of seconds, and they almost got it right there. They're still down 2, though. So they're going to need to really get going if they want to have a chance at this reverse sweep. Melodic goes for the reset, maybe faking it out or just waiting for as long as possible. Astro, good pass to Zath, but it won't matter. Does get blocked by Woe. Found out pretty early. Melodic tries to get a second touch and does. Won't go through, though. Not enough power on the shot. With now 35, it's looking like this is going to be a series for Ball State. They will find their way to Sunday, and Southern Miss going to have a very, very long wait ahead of them.
Yeah, Southern Miss trying to take as many shots as they can, but Ball State shutting them down on every single front that they can. Not letting Melodic go up for solo plays, not letting Astro make these passes, and just destroying Southern Miss. Now, it is interesting to see that Southern Miss really hasn't changed up their play of the game at all. Maybe a little bit there in the last couple seconds, but it seems as if this game is going to Ball State.
And it will finally finish on up. As you see the ball hit the ground there. No one is in the lobby. Literally everyone left. Not a big fan of that personally, but it is what it is, especially with Ball State now having qualified for Championship Sunday. We will see them in the top 8. Southern Miss will now head to the losers final. So we've got a long ways to go before we get there. They will be awaiting the winner of the last remaining teams. And I will list off every single remaining team, not in any order, just listing them off as I see them. So you have Redbird, UTK, Northwood, Thomas College, Ole Miss, Daytona State, Mizzou, Davenport, which I think that's Davenport Red, Bruton Parker, and St. Clair College Academy. And actually, Bruton Parker just got eliminated by St. Clair Academy. So that's another upset on the board there. They will play the winner of Mizzou and Davenport. And I believe Northwood's playing Thomas College. They will play the winner of Ole Miss Daytona State College as well. But there's about 4 more rounds before we find out who Southern Miss will be playing. So I want to say we should turn the stream off and come back because it's going to be over an hour. It's going to probably be like an hour and a half, but we will throw it to intermission for the time being. And if the stream turns off, don't be scared. We'll turn it back on when we're ready for the losers final. We'll figure it out though in the next couple of minutes. So for now, we'll toss it to intermission, but we probably will end the stream for at least a little bit before we go into our next series.